No salutations, everybody. Boom. Here I am. Sorry for the wait. I was looking at the Twitch stuff, and I realized that I need that if I want to like confirm my affiliation, I need to like fill a bunch of paperwork. So I'll have to do it and I started filling it out, and then I realized that it's a lot. So I'm just gonna do it on my own time. Because I was wondering, because I had some ideas for like point rewards. And then I look at the point rewards and I'm like, oh, I need to qualify this. So yeah, sorry for the wait. I was just checking some things before I go in. And yeah. That's all. So yeah, sorry for the delay. I'm here now. We're gonna be continuing as scheduled. I just had some things I wanted to take a look at before we got in, only to realize that like this will take more time and that I should have taken care of it earlier. Classic. So yeah. It's been like a few days since we last finished. Since we last streamed, specifically with Honkai. I'm having a good time with the game. But like we're not in the position yet where I can just like play the game on my off time. There's still a lot of the game that hasn't opened up yet, if you get what I mean. Yeah. But we'll finish it when we finish it. Like, we'll get to it when we get to it. It's just that, like, I'm really enjoying the game and I want to continue it. But it's fine. Other than that, this week has been pretty busy. I've been working on some non-related projects. Like, I specifically, like, have this big test assignment. And that was like most of the things I did. And like I had this, and like if there's something that I recognized about myself in terms of like productivity, is that I like some days I just like lock in and I'm able to like work like hours upon hours in a row and like making sure that I like take breaks, but like I have a lot of energy and I just like lock in and I get a lot of stuff done. And then there's just some days where I can only get out of bed really late. It's like I do a thing and then I go back and then I just sleep. And then I wake up. It's like, it's weird. But if there's a recent advice I got about it because yeah. Yeah. So I got a good advice from a friend, and that advice was don't be hard on yourself because like there's some days when you manage to do like less stuff, because sometimes you do have these days and it sucks, but accept things as they are and then go from there. You know, I hope that what I'm saying makes sense. Because sometimes I can't really control like when I manage to like charge up my batteries. And that was a really good advice I got. So I hope you take that as well. It's like the world's hard already. Like every single week as of late, especially since a very specific administration came into and like other stuff happened has been like an absolute shit show, and it's like the shit show will keep shitting on the shit. So like be kind to yourself if you can't get much done. Like if I'm making sense. Like do what you can and like do what you can and like accept things as they are. Oh, and another thing I want to say before we start is that the first episode of the Devil is finally out on Steam, and I started playing it. I'm still very much in the beginning, but it's a very interesting setup. There's also like a new, like apparently like there's 2 difficulty modes, casual mode and high roller mode. And high roller mode means that like you only have 1 save slot, and you can't save scum. Or like even reload, but like the score you can get is even higher. And like the game really wants you to play in the harder mode, and it's like you can turn it off if it gets too much, but if you want to turn it on back again, you have to start the episode over. And it's a very, and like I've played how much did I play Above the Devil? Of that game specifically? No way. Oh, I played like a minute. I played like an hour and a bit, and it's like I'm still like in the fucking prologue, like beginning of like the case. But yeah. I also noticed that like there's a bunch of moments in the game where it feels very inspired by Bakemonogatari, because Monogatari has these places where like you have a colored background and like the script lines, but you don't see the visuals, which I think it's really nice. Again, this is me recommending to you like the game, because it's really damn good. Play the demo. The demo's free. It's like 3 hours, but it's 3 really well spent hours, and the first episode seems to be very promising as well. And I'm saying this because it is very much inspired by Ace Attorney. And it's and like others in this very weird subgenre of lawyer detective game. Am I making sense? I mean, I am making sense probably. Like it's pretty obvious to know what genres Ace Attorney is drawing inspiration from. Is it now I'm only checking if it works. Game capture. It's currently showing to me Metaphori Fantasio. Should work now. Hold on. This is the viewer tech. Okay. Oh, it's just that it's taking some time to open, I see. Hello, Pink Mage TV. Welcome to the stream. I don't think I've seen you here before. I hope you'll enjoy I hope you enjoy the show. I am going to see if the game. Oh, there we go. It streams fine and well. Fine, it's all fine and dandy. I see the Capcom. Took me like a minute to set things up, you know? So yeah, this game supports an autosave feature. You know the drill. The drill has been known. And I think I need to readjust the stream. Why is it open twice? Okay, now it seems okay. I've set up the stream. As usual, last time I played this game, I had really bad volume balance, which I apologize for because the game has really nice music, and I just absolutely lowered the volume a little too much. Like not in the game, but actually in the desktop audio itself, it was like negative 20 decibels when it should have been like negative 5. I don't know why I did that. I think that like maybe, but like it sucks because then I see it in the backlog and it's like on my YouTube channel, and now all my rookie volume mistakes are just how the stream comes out. No redoing, nothing, whatever, which stinks. But we'll learn. Anyways, we are currently in the case ladder of Turnabout Legacy. Yesterday's stream was very much sad, big sad. We discovered that the body has disappeared, and which explains why it reappeared in the present. And now we're trying to figure things out. Eustace Winner and Verity Gavel are back at it again as usual. And I think that now that like I'm in the stream, I realize that I want to make myself a hot drink. But I think I'm gonna read some text and then I'll be back. Oh, right, we're doing an investigation. Okay, so I'm gonna make myself a quick drink, which is something I should have done later. Should have done now. There's a lot of stuff to investigate, but until then, I'm just gonna make myself something warm to drink so my throat doesn't die, and you chill. Okay. I have dinner and I have hot drink. I actually went to get my drink and then I go out my cabin and Larry the Yeti, the good roommate that he is, he made me some schnitzel and fries. Schnitzel, just a variant of fried chicken, by the way. Actually, probably, like, I also ate some schnitzel yesterday with bread, and honestly, it was not the smartest, because now I have more, but it's fine. Food is food. So I just ate a lot of carbs today. I didn't know who cares about that, but I had to mention it. I have been trying to eat healthy, in the past few months, you know. Anyways, let's begin with examining this drop of liquid. Hey there, Malzarino. What's the situation with the investigation? I mean, I meant to examine the spill, but sure. Things are progressing. I think a further picture of what happened is beginning to emerge. Good to hear. Guess I better step up my game too, then. Let's begin with talking with our boy, Eddie. This case seems to have a lot in common with the incident from 18 years ago. And how? It got me the lot. Melting statues in the winter wing, and even the murder victim's body. 2025 do be the health arc. I've been doing Pilates. I mean, this week I feel like... I feel that, like, this week has been a little harder, not because I had any special events, the hardest part is the meal prep, and specifically for veggies. Today I didn't eat, I ate a good breakfast, and then I just had a bunch of carbs today, but it's fine. One of the biggest tips I'm giving to myself is to forgive. But yeah. I have a lot of opinions about health. I can go and, like, talk about it, but, like, my main thing is that I don't think that children, that, like, the way that, society usually pushes, healthy eating on children needs a lot of work. That you need cards for the brain worm to... Yeah, it's fine. Today... It's fine. Because there's a lot of fucked up, opinions about it. Because exercising is good. Eating healthy is good. But I think that pushing that on teenagers and society specifically is a bad thing, because when you're a teenager, you need to eat a lot to grow. Like, your body is telling you to eat. And yeah, sometimes it leads to a bit of weight gain, and I'm not saying that, like, people shouldn't exercise, but I think that, I just think that, like, kids deserve better when it comes to that. I also think that teenagers should not diet. That's, like, my big one. As someone who has had it on her in the past. That's like that's like one of my big yeah, push it. Yeah, the depressed 20-somethings instead is actually a better idea. I mean, and it doesn't even have to be like some of like the weird diets, but like encouraging depressed 20-somethings to exercise is actually a good thing. But yeah, it's like teenagers should not worry that much about what they eat. That's my point.
But how did nobody ever figure that out that the body had gone missing?
Frost had no family apart from his son. And, well, the kid kind of vanished. Nobody's seen him around since the time of the incident. I don't exactly have a horse in this race considering my fast metabolism and being severely underweight. That's fair. It's like... Well, like the underweight stuff is a whole different it's a totally different beast from what I know. I had this classmate who was underweight and actually needed to eat more. Now I just get depressed when I lose the pump instead of the all-time big W. Gusto's son too. Him and his best pal from school both just up and disappeared. Oh no, disappearing children. Now that's dark.
What? And they were never found?
Gusto's boy wasn't. Not as far as I heard on, anyhow. Guess Frost's kid turned up in the end, though. He collected his inheritance at some point. But yeah, with no family around just after the incident, Frost got no funeral, no nothing. So no need for the police to release the body, and no need for anybody to find out they didn't have it. That is some true crime bullshit. They threw their fake autopsy report, and nobody was any the wiser. Well, almost nobody. Still can't believe Mr. Von Karma would have stooped so low. Yep. Von Karma, like, if there's something that this case shows, is that, like, Von Karma loved his wife, but he also loved being an absolute devil in the courtroom. Like, this case seems to have a lot in common with the incident from 18 years ago. And how? I get that a lot. Melting statues in the Winter Wing and even... Did I click? Oh shit, I already read this. Fuck. He loves to hate. He's a hater. Absolutely. Oh, that was the only thing he had to say. I thought there was something else that was added, but it's fine. Can I examine the spill? Yeah. From the color and the aroma, I'd say this is a puddle of spilled tea.
Look, there's a small chunk of ceramic in it.
This is the Pierre Hoquet, ceramic.
I guess somebody must have broke something?
I knew that insignia. And a sudden high-strung somebody just might know related to something too. Well, Kate isn't here yet. I also want to see if there's anything in the fountain. Seems the police have already removed the body. But there's still forensic scientists there.
But why did the body of a victim from 18 years ago turn up in this fountain? And why wasn't it all rotten and stuff? Didn't it slowly shuffle its way there? Oh wait, did it slowly shuffle its way here?
I mean, I'll remind you that zombies aren't real. I mean, ghosts are real. But zombies aren't, and in the Ace Attorney universe, ghosts can only possess living beings, not zombies. Sometimes I just forget that ghosts are real in Ace Attorney. And that it's only like a big leading factor in the trilogy and in Spirit of Justice, and that's it. Not even in Professor Layton versus Ace Attorney, because even though Maya's here, Maya's there, she doesn't do any mediuming. Seems likely the body has preserved somehow.
Really? Is that even possible?
It's like, it's so weird because you have this Attorney game and like, aside from ghosts being real, the world of Ace Attorney is very not paranormal.
Hey, Mr. Forensics Guide, anything to report?
Yes, ma'am. This is both. Thank you so much for the follow. Hold on, I'm gonna check who decided to be generous today. Oh my god! Guys, it's Franziska von Karma! Holy shit, it's Franziska von Karma. Thank you very much for following me, dear. I hope you stick around. It's amazing. Well, it's more spirits, and that ties more into religion. That's fair. Why are you in Skigia? Oh, well, Franziska, it's because I'm a snow hermit, and I live in a tundra, and it's ridiculously cold where I'm at. Even in the cabin when I'm really warm, like, when it's relatively warm, I still feel like sometimes when I'm near the fireplace, I get too hot. So, Siberia, I'm not about to dox myself, Franziska. Absolutely not. Why would I just know? Why would I dox myself? Traces of both ubiquium and asphyxion have been detected in the fountain. Oh, it was a joke because of how cold it is. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair enough, Franziska.
I'm gonna say they were probably carried here by the street from the Autumn Wing.
Yeah. Franziska, we're currently playing Ace Attorney Investigations Turnabout Legacy. You only show up in the next case, as far as I remember. But for now, like, your dad showed up and he was very nice. He did very nice things. I'm totally not being sarcastic. I'm so sorry. In addition to those two chemicals, there's also a large amount of sugar. The composition of sugar is being analyzed as we speak. The sugar in fountain. Where did it even have come from? Well, you better find out. Oh, I see that Justine and Eustace are here. Let's go say hello to those losers. Do you mind, Mr. Lina? You're in my way.
I do mind, actually. I'm not going anywhere. You'll just have to go around me. Well, we just thought you might want to move to a better spot, that's all.
What better spot? I demand you show it to me at once. Oh, I saw a trash bag I saw a trash compactor in a while back. You can go stand there. Is that really all it takes to make you do whatever we want? Let's see what what Verity, what Miss Gavelle has to say to us.
Don't think you've gotten away with anything, Mr. Edgeworth. I'll be reporting your actions to the committee.
Hale, don't attempt to murder children. I wasn't trying to murder. Like, I meant to say, like, trash bin. Okay? I forgot that compactor is the thing that, like, folds things. You know? But it's also in the name, you know, compact trash. Do whatever you need to do, Judge Gavelle.
And we'll do the same. You are a self-styled great thief, correct? Mr. Edgeworth's association with such a character will be in interest of the committee, of course.
She's not... Don't take her seriously. Miss
Gavelle. Go ahead and report me to your stupid committee. I'll be the toast of the thieving community.
It looks like Judge Gavelle will have to think up some new threats if she wants to intimidate Kay. Yeah, here's the thing, Kay. Here's the thing with Kay. Kay wants to be a criminal so bad. She wants to be a criminal so bad. Let's see what Delicia Scone has to say to us.
Hello there, dearie. Still investigating away, are you? Found anything interesting? No, dearie. Well, nothing much anyway. Silly girl, that wasn't a dearie moment. That was more of a lambkin.
Oh my god. She has... I did not know there was a timing thing to this.
Sweetheart is for when you're being sympathetic, of course, and treasure is for when they're in a tease. Love is for people you're not that keen on, and petal is what you use when you're trying to get someone's attention. Wow, I didn't realize there were so many rules. Mr. Edgeworth, Petal, I hope you're getting all this down.
Don't even try it, Kay.
Oh, dearie me.
This reminded me of the parrot from the crossover that like said, dearie, dearie me. That's like one of the few things I remember about the crossover with Layton. You know, here's the thing that's weird. Like, I've played the crossover a couple of times, and like, while I played like the Layton crossover, I had a lot of time going through it, and I think that historically, it's also a really good thing that it happened because a lot of the ideas that were used in the crossover transferred and were reused in the Great Ace Attorney to really good effect. Specifically, the courtroom mechanics, like cross-examining two witnesses at once, the cross-examining of the jury, which is one of my favorite ideas, and, you know, etc. But like when I finished the game, and I did it twice, I was like, huh, that was alright. I don't know why it happened to me with this game. Oh, look, it's a snake.
It's a sculpture of a brave warrior battling against the serpent. Did Paul Halik make this one too, Mr. Edgeworth?
He did, but it seems like he was fascinated by fantasy and mythology when he was a young man. This piece embodies the tragic and gritty determination of the young as they face an impossible situation. Like the serpent in Balatro. You know, I can look at a bunch of things here and like make them into a Balatro reference. Serpent, Balatro reference. Water, splash. Joker and Balatro. The key in Kay's hair, that's unlocking. And you know what you do in Balatro? You unlock new Jokers. Sword, this guy looks like an emperor. Balatro. This woman is a judge. Judgment. Balatro. I can go on. A few days ago, my friend sent me this stream clip by Pirate Software, who I don't follow, by the way, but like, I have a whole ass tangent about Pirate Software. I'll go into it later. Not that I'd want to, because I don't know how aggressive his fandom is right now. But like, he sent this to me. It's like he was like, I have no idea what's going on. And then I just managed to explain what happened in the game because I play so much Balatro. It's called the math test.
Talk about relatable.
Oh man, that's true. My least favorite math thing to learn was either trigonometry or no, I think trigonometry was fine. I didn't like geometry, and I did not like integrals. I fucking hated doing integral math. At least your crippling addiction is used for something, that's true. I mean, to be honest, like, it feels like Slay the Spire has taken place of Balatro as of late. Miss Bound's tea set is laid out in the southern cart.
The pamphlet says the gallery is famous for its tea.
Understandably so. The cup we were given was delicious.
Looks like all this stuff was designed by Mr. Frost.
Interesting. In that case, I think we'd better take a closer look. So this dishware was made by Auntie Frost.
Looks very fancy.
Oh, it is. I'm willing to bet that this set can fetch something in thousands of dollars. So I try not to touch any of it unless... Mercy brought me across the obelisk the other day. Obelisk is such an interesting Joker. Because, like, if you get it early, it's a very, you can really, like, build a run.
Oh, this stuff's really worth that much?
Stop it, Kay. I can see your eyes lighting up. Miss Bound must be really a big fan of Frost and Miss Bound must really be a fan of Mr. Frost, like Fender said, to still have this. Oh, the multiplayer Slay the Spire. Ah, yeah. Could be fun. How long ago did Slay the Spire come out? I'm gonna check. $2019? Crazy, I thought it came out earlier. It's like... No, like... Wait. It was early access in 2017, and then, like, the full version was released in 2019. I thought it was, like, released in, like, 2015-ish, but, like, yeah. This game is this game is a little newer than what I thought it did, but it's still pretty, it still has some, years behind it.
Hey, Edgy!
What is it?
You be careful with that teapot, you hear?
Why is Larry so concerned all of a sudden? Oh, there she is. It's Judy Bound.
Honored guests. I can pour you a cup if you'd like.
Miss Bound.
Judy! I'm good, thanks. No tea for me. You two knock yourselves out.
Thank you for the offer. Yes, why not? A quick break won't hurt. I'm actually gonna take a sip of my tea. There's this brand of tea that's called Ceremony. It's more fancier tea, and like they sell it in like triangular packets, like pyramid tea bags. And like that stuff is really potent. The ideal way to like make them is to like put it in a teapot. There's actually a specific teapot that they made. And then like you spill hot water and it's really good. But like I just shoved an entire pyramid, which on one hand is kind of wasteful, but on the other hand, I do like it.
2 cups coming right up.
I like Kay's expression in here. She goes like cat face.
It smells great.
Nice. They were synchronized.
Wow, it tastes even better than it smells. What type of tea is it, Mr. Edgeworth?
It's Ceylon, I believe. It's usually identifiable by its citrus aroma, but... Miss Brown, is this the same blend you served this morning?
Oh, yes. Is this all right?
There isn't anything wrong with it, is there? Oh, no, not at all. It's just that the cup of tea you gave me had a slightly different aroma.
Really? That's odd. I used the exact same blend both times.
I can't see what could account for the difference.
Hey, what's the big idea? Quit being mean about Judy's tea, will you?
What's got it under your skin, Larry?
Nothing. You're just rude, that's all. You don't even try to call me by the right name. It's Laurice Dunin, damn it. Dang it.
You know what? I'm done. I'm not talking to you anymore. Yeah, that was childish even for him.
Wow. What happened there?
Let's ask him about it later, shall we? Being with Miss Bound is more of a priority right now. Okay. We may not have any evidence to prove that she's in the culprit, but it does seem likely that the poison gas was her doing. Oh my, could be. Anything else? What's this? A caddy containing Ceylon tea leaves. It's a well-crafted tin canister designed to prevent moisture and sunlight from damaging its contents. Not a bad thing to use considering the quality of the blend Miss Bound serves. I wonder if I had a Ceylon in the past. Because... First of all, it's tea from Sri Lanka. Yeah, it's very specific. It's like, specifically tea from, it's very specific. I don't think I've had that yet. And I've had a couple of different tastes of tea. The tablecloth draped over the card is pure white and completely spotless.
And it's just waiting for me to grab it by the edge, clear my mind, and whoosh!
Okay, I cannot stress enough how bad of an idea that would be.
Oh, come on, what's the worst that can happen? Even if it does go all sideways, we'll just wind up with a cool tea-colored dye-dye.
Yes, well, I'd rather it remain white. Plus, I don't think Miss Bound would appreciate us meddling with it.
Really? But there's so many other colors that would totally work. Pink, sky blue, tea leaves brown.
Oh, she loves causing chaos. Doesn't she? Anyways, that's all there is. Do I have any other logic points I can connect? It seems minty fragments and the tea can smells different. Is that it? Nope, doesn't seem like it. I think we need more proof. I mean, I think that the ubiquium was used in the tea, but it seems like I need to connect it with something else before I do that, you know? Oh, this, a push cart. Why is there a lift cart just sitting here out in the open?
Yes, somebody must have been moving something heavy.
The top of the platform seems to be wet. No, I've got a funny feeling I've seen this thing somewhere before.
You mean like 18 years ago?
Yeah, it's all coming back to me now. I last saw it at Frost's room. He must have used it to move the ice sculptures. He must have used it to move the ice sculptures around. It's one of those fancy numbers where you can change not only the platform's height, but even its angle. If you had one of these, you could move the giant lumps of ice around in no sweat. Okay, and it's wet, probably because of the ice.
Ooh, just think of the possibilities. I could really use one of these.
Still doesn't explain what it's doing here, though. Bit of a head scratcher, but we should give it a thing, yeah? Indeed. After all, it just might have something to do with our case. I like Eddie. He's very helpful. We already called to Delicia. Let's talk to Larry. I'm going to keep this simple, Larry. You're hiding something. Just tell me what it is. Yeah, he's not gonna speak to us. Okay, maybe if Kay speaks to him, he'll respond to her.
Whoa, quit it with the glare off, you two. It's weird. Come on, Kay. You know better than that. I wasn't staring. I was struck by an idea for a picture. Now, Hedgie, he was glaring.
Yes, and I'll keep glaring at you until you tell us what it is you're hiding.
Quit it! I already told you. I'm not talking to you anymore.
You're talking to me right now.
I mean, from now on, I'm not talking to you ever again. Starting now.
He's getting me nowhere. I suppose I'll have to figure it out where he's hiding first before I can get the whole truth out of him. This theme is so iconic. Would you mind taking a look at this for me, Larry?
Why would you show me that?
Tell me what it is that Miss Bounce T said that got you all so agitated. If you won't tell me, then perhaps you prefer to explain it to Judge Gavelle. By the way, how's the volume in the stream, you guys? I hope it's not too low because, tell me if the volume's fine. If not, then I'll adjust it late in a bit.
Wait! Don't make me look bad in front of Verity! She thinks I'm sensible, cool, clean-cut guy!
In your universe, maybe. I want her to see the real me. Okay, that's good.
The real, low-down, dirty me.
I'm not so sure anybody here thinks you're particularly clean-cut, Larry. But if you don't want her to think badly of you, the best you think you can do is talk to me.
Alright, I'll talk!
What are you hiding, Larry? Alright, Larry, enough is enough. Now confess.
Is this any way to treat your best friend, Edgy?
Is this any way for you to treat yours? By lying to him? Hiding things?
I get the picture already, so stop glaring at me like that! I'll tell you everything, okay? Earlier, I thought Verity might like a cup of tea, so I went to pour one for her. I got distracted and my hand slipped and smash! I broke the teapot! A priceless work of art gets in pieces because of me!
No words exist to describe how far away I saw it coming from.
Ouch, you really messed up this time, Maurice.
I like how Kay is using his pseudonym.
See, Edgy? Everyone's gonna think less of me now! Kay, Tutor's never gonna forgive me for this!
Crying to me won't do you any good. I think you need to apologize to Miss Bound. Oh, wow. The big Sumimasen.
My teapot.
Because Kay's in an asshole like Edgeworth Little. Yeah. I mean, she can be an asshole, but, like, she's not the same flavor of asshole. And, like, it's really not that asshole-y. She's just, like, a prankster. I'm so sorry, Judy. I'm so sorry. I don't have any money, but I'll paint you portraits. I'll paint you 50 portraits. Yeah, she can be a brat, but she's also allowed to. She's 17. 17-year-olds can still be brats. I mean, I've been 17. You've all been 17, chat.
Please, Mr. Dunham. It's really me who should be apologizing. How could I fail to notice that there were broken pieces of ceramics on the floor? Somebody could have been hurt. Here, let me make sure that that's safely disposed of.
The teapot in question was designed by Auntie Frost, correct? I understand it was something you've long treasured. You must be upset.
Oh, I am. But of course, all things break eventually. And as luck would have it, I have another identical teapot. It's far from the end of the world.
Is she less attached to Mr. Frost's work than she used to be?
I can't believe this, Judy! You're the sweetest! The kindest!
This other teapot you're talking about, it's the one sitting on top of the cart right now, right?
What do you mean?
Yeah, so when I smashed the first one, I tried to hide the pieces at the bottom of the cart. And that's when I saw the other pot there, so I took it and basically switched the two pots. Oh my god.
Oh, I see.
I know where this is going. Yep, and that's everything I have to tell you. I'll be extra careful not to break the other one, I promise. You have no shame whatsoever, do you?
I'm sorry. It's really quite all right. Thank you for being so honest.
See, Edgy, isn't Judy the absolute best? I trust you won't take advantage of her kindness and will make amends somehow. I sure will. Once I make her as an artist, I'm going to give her one of my paintings. She was one of my models, after all. It's only fair. At this rate, I suspect he's likely to make more trouble than amends. I only try to think it would be better for you to keep out of her way for a very long while. Oh, but I will be keeping her out of her way because I sketched her and the others already. Her and the others. Keen to see my work, huh? Yeah, I drew a few great sketches of ravishing beauties. Wanna see? Interested in Laurice's ravishing beauties, huh, Mr. Edgeworth? I wonder... Huh. Guys, do you think Larry owns a DeviantArt? Is he the type to have a DeviantArt account? I'm afraid you've greatly misjudged, Kay. I simply wish to see if Larry has captured any unusual details this time too. Yeah, Edgeworth has learned that Larry is a good magnet for turnabouts in a case. Unusual details? Nothing's unusual about these, they're my best work yet!
Really? Now I want to see them too.
Aw, you're a sweetheart, Kay. Alright, let me dig them out for you. Give me a sec, okay? Art station of pics of maybe, yeah. Could be. I suppose we must as well take a look. So, these sketches of yours. Seriously, Edgy, if you want to check out my art, you should have just said from the get-go. Here, feast your eyes on this! Honestly, not bad. Not bad at all. Considering that this style is very much similar to, this guy, like, it's, like, in Ace, like, by the standards of this game's style, Edgeworth, like, Larry's really good at realism. That's really impressive. What am I looking at here? I told you already! Ravishing beauties! Just a few of the fair faces that have caught my eye since I've been here, you know? There's Verity, and Judy, and, somebody else.
Why did you draw them all on the same page?
Well, I meant to draw the room at first, but just something to pass the time. And then I saw the beauty, and another, and well, I just scribbled them all down as they went. So these were all drawn by different times. Huh? Yeah, yes. I did one of you too, Kay. You're on a different page, though.
Wow, you did? I'm flattered.
How true to life are these sketches? Did you redraw what you actually saw?
Of course! You think I draw things I can't see? Like using my imagination?
Nope. These are 100% true to life. Right down to the same shade of each color. So these colors are accurate. Interesting. Much as it pains me to admit it, Larry may have provided me with a useful piece of evidence yet again. The serving card remains in the sketch, for example. If I compare it to the one in the room, there's a clear contradiction between the two. I think a little deduction is in order. Could I borrow this page for a while, Larry?
Sure thing. You want me to sign it for you?
Just the page, please. You know, there's a lot of smack that can be like thrown towards this buffoon of a man. This fail son of a fail son. But he's a really good artist. Like in universe, Larry's a really good artist. Okay. Could this be related somehow? Yes, it can, because your sheets are different. Larry, could I ask you something about your sketches?
Fascinated by the work of the great Maurice Dunim, huh? It's the composition, right?
Not exactly. This light blue tablecloth. You painted that exactly as you saw it, correct? I already told you.
Everything is exactly as I saw it!
But that tablecloth on the card here in this room is white. Wow. Your head's so full of crazy theories, the simple stuff just passes you right by, huh?
Ugh, what's that look for?
Listen, just before I drew that sketch, I was in the middle of some business with the card with the tea set on it, okay? What kind of business?
That's right. It was the hiding the pieces of the teapot I snatched kind.
I mean, he didn't do much of a good job.
That's nothing to boast about. Anyway, I was still in the middle of cleaning it up when Judy came out of the winter wing. I didn't want to get busted for breaking the pot, so I quickly dove out of sight.
Oh, the bonbons. Wait, Miss Bound came out of the winter wing?
Yeah, and she was pushing a cart. A different one. That's the one with the light blue tablecloth on it I drew.
And what did she do with the second serving cart?
Well, I saw her wheel it into the summer wing, but I don't know what happened to it after that. When she came back out, she was pushing one of those other carts, the cart you can lift stuff with.
Interesting.
A lift cart. Yeah, so I called out to her, but she just ran off and left it behind. Never had her down as the shy type, but it just goes to show, you never know.
Another serving cart and a lift cart.
Is there maybe another tea set too?
We gotta check with Miss Bound. Is she around? I mean, we know that there's switched, I think we can connect these two. Yeah. I suspect the difference in aroma we notice is due to the teapots having been switched.
You do?
I can't see what else it could have been. The tea itself hasn't changed. Why don't we ask Miss Bound just to be sure? Miss Bound, the difference in the aroma we noticed, do you think it could have been anything because of the different teapot?
I suppose so.
My cup just now had a subtle minty scent, rather like uva tea.
Oh, I just remembered. I made some peppermint tea in that pot only yesterday. That must be where the minty aroma is coming from.
Could that really be it? The tea from the teapot, Larry, switched in from under the cot smelled faintly of mint.
Right, so Miss Bound said she used that pot to make peppermint tea yesterday.
Yes, but there's something else that's been troubling me. Miss Bounce seemed more taken aback by the switching of the teapots than the breaking of one.
You're right. You'd expect it to be at least the other way around.
I suspect she might have been deliberately hiding the teapot beneath the car.
But why?
One of Ubiqueum's key characteristics is its minty fragrance. So, what if she had been hiding some in that teapot?
What? In the teapot?
It's simply a possibility, but one worth investigating, I believe. Mr. Winner, any luck finding that Ubiqueum?
Huh?
Oh! My people are searching the entire gallery, but they haven't found anything yet. And what about you? Don't tell me you know where it came from. I may have an idea.
Ha! I knew it.
If I can't find it, there's no chance unless... What? Whenever that theme song plays, you know some buffoonery is about to go down. See, buffoonery, that's also a Balatro reference. I can find them literally everywhere, and I can make them up.
You do know where it came from?
Yes.
Where?
Miss Bounce's teapot.
Wow, nice piece. I like it.
Yeah, this looks like a fitting prize for a natural-born winner. It's not a prize, it's a vital piece of evidence. Hello, welcome to the stream. We're streaming Ace Attorney.
Oh, it's just evidence.
Then I'll have one of the forensics people check it out. That's really not a good place for you to stand. Mr. Edgeworth, is there some sort of problem with my teapot? Possibly. The minty fragrance we noticed is coming from it. I think it just might be the scent of one of the chemicals used to make the poison gas. But, Mr. Edgeworth... Could use more didgeridoos, though. What could use more didgeridoos? I forgot. Yeah, Sebastian, Eustace's theme. Man, take a shot every time I mix up the names. I'm afraid I do. The method used to create the gas would have required considerable preparation. Winner's theme. Yeah, I got it. Nobody would have the time or the opportunity to set that up except you. That's not strictly true. It took around a week to get Soti Hall ready for the exhibition. There were all kinds of people coming and going through here during that time. Delicia, for one. So, you see, I'm not the only person who could have set it up at all. Miss Code is on a radar too, of course. You needn't worry about that. And besides, I wouldn't know the first thing about making poison gas. Engage battle theme has didgeridoo and it caught me off guard. It's been living in my head rent-free. Wow. Crazy. That's pretty crazy. So even if you did find some ubiquitous in my teapot, I wouldn't have any idea what to do with it. But I suppose we should see if what the test results say first. Miss Bound claims she doesn't know the first thing when making poison gas. And to find a way to prove that she's lying. Oh, phone. Hello, who is this? Edgeworth speaking. Sir, it's me! It's Gumshoe! Is everything alright, Detective? Everybody's left the winter wing, so it's just me here now. Which means I can tell you what we found out. You really shouldn't be sharing information about the investigation. Yeah, but he wants to help, but after the past week or so, I'm not sure, I'm not about to stop him now. The exhibits in here are all completely melted. All that's left in the display case is some stuff at the bottom. More of it in the Taurus case than the Gemini case, though. Describe this stuff for me if you can. Yes, sir! It's like a pale blue liquid. I've had the lab run some tests just now. The sample from the Taurus case just had a bunch of sugar in it. But the one in the Gemini case had 3 different substances in it. Which were sugar, salt, and blood. Oh! Blood? What are salt and blood doing in the Gemini case's sample? Can't imagine whose blood it could possibly be, but... I'll get it tested right away, sir. Please do, Detective. Oh, and I also spoke over this radio with the forensics guy working in the fountain room. He said he just got word the sugar they found in the fountain matches the sugar in the pale blue liquid. I see. It might as well prove to be a significant development. Anything else to report, Detective? Yes, sir. We found one of those light emitting devices here in the winter wing, too. There were a few of those being used in the autumn wing to disguise as the Oh, wait, that was Edgeworth's line. Let me redo that. There were a few of those being used in the autumn wing to disguise it as the winter wing, as I recall. It seems the equipment from the 18 years ago is more than just for show. I need to talk to Miss Scone about this. Anyhow, I better be getting back to it. I'll let you know as soon as we hear from the lab about the blood. Yes, thank you, Detective.
Was that Gummy? Seems like you had a lot to say.
He did, and all of it very useful. Huh? If we're going to prove Miss Bound's claims about who could have said if the poison gas drop are false, I'll need you to talk with a certain somebody else who was here 18 years ago. Oh, we got the base! Miss Scone, I'd like to ask you a few questions, if I may.
Of course, dear. Fire away. Anything for you, Milesy, and the great, dear little, sweet little tooth decay.
Wow, that's a good one. That's such a good one. Tooth decay can also be a good name for It can also be a good name for a drag queen. I'd appreciate it if that was the last time you called me Milesy Smilesy. It's a bad name? Could be.
I'm not a fan of tooth decay either. Well, you just have to like it or lump it. I can't change a nickname once I've settled on it. Ugh. Well, I guess we tried.
What can you tell us about the various devices used to decorate the gallery's exhibits? There seem to be some pretty specialized items in use, light-emitting devices, humanist fabrics.
Oh, I can tell you all about those, dearie. After all, I'm the one who gave them to Moody Judy. It was my way of saying sorry after I broke the rules all those years ago. I bought her 4 lovely new salt lamps, and I gave her these 4 pieces of luminous cloth I used for the contest. Wow, that's super generous of you. Well, us girls have to do our best, don't we? Not everybody understands, of course.
And I better not be a dig at me, Delish. I told you how kind I thought that was.
Yes, back when you were a dear, sweet, innocent baby boy. What happened to you, eh?
A lot.
Dear, sweet, innocent baby boy? Mr. Fender, I can't quite picture that, I have to say.
What happened to Fender since then? I think depression. So these decorations, they're all the same as the ones you saw 18 years ago, correct? Yep, salt lamps, colored fabric, light-emitting doodads, the whole bit. There were 4 luminous cloths in use, the autumn wing. But I'm sure I saw another one somewhere.
I'm not lying! Oh, it's in my bag somewhere, I'm sure of it.
What is she looking for?
That's not it. And that's not it.
The cloth looks familiar. Maybe I should jog her memory with something so skin would tell us more. Let's talk and then present. Miss Scone, you're something of a specialist. How might someone learn to make the poison gas that was used in the attack, Any ideas?
Well, any pharmacist who's had handled Infesticide Ultra.
Mentor died, tried to avenge him, lost to karma, most likely more than once, had to watch his godson become the demon prosecutor. Yeah, depression happened to him. Depression and life being a bitch.
After all, it says right here on the label, do not mix with products containing ubiquium, ever.
But what about the layperson? It's likely they'd know, wouldn't you say?
I suppose so, yes. Well, not unless they had a nose through the ultimate cookbook anyway.
The prize from the contest 18 years ago.
The recipe for making Infesticide Ultra, along with the not mixing of ubiquium, is in there, you know.
Oh! So you're saying you're familiar with the contents of the book?
Oh, yes, Yes, dear, I know it inside out. Because I work for the Tongarova Group, you see. We're the company behind Cold Killer X. I'm sure you've heard of it.
Yeah. Cold Killer X fights back sniffles and seizes with ease, apparently. And is a good vessel for poisoning if you ask someone.
After Sally Pooper was found guilty, the company took custody of the book. Well, they only grant their most trusted people access to it, of course. Which means Miss Code is one of those elites, I suppose.
Okay, let's present the cloth. You had a piece of fabric like this in your bag, didn't you not, Mr. Cone? Albeit someone grimier one.
Grimy? How rude! You won't get people to cooperate with your little investigation like that, young man.
Shall I call it a dish towel then? Perhaps then used it to wipe out some sort of spillage.
A spillage, he says! The cheek! That's a piece of highly specialized luminous cloth.
Oh, I probably shouldn't have told you that. I think I'd like to know a little more about this highly specialized luminous cloth, if you don't mind. Miss Cone, you're something of a specialist. How might someone learn to make poison gas that you used in the attack? Any ideas? Oh, I think
After all, it says it right there on the label. Do not mix with products containing ubiquium, ever!
But what about a layperson? It's likely they'd know, wouldn't you say? Did I read this already? I think I did. I already did read that. Fuck. This is like the second time it happened this stream. I promise that was not intentional. Yeah, okay. Why didn't you want me to know you had a piece of luminous cloth in your bag?
Oh, well, I suppose there's no point hiding it now, is there? You must know I fished it down the fountain. It was right before they called me into the autumn wing.
So Larry's sketch of Miss Cone is of when she was trying to retrieve the cloth.
At first I thought it was one of those ones I given to Moody Judy.
One of the 4 you've given to the gallery, correct?
Exactly, but all 4 were being used in the autumn wing, weren't they? So I realized it must be the one that went missing all those years ago. I'd already had mine precise ultra pinched and used to make poison gas. But if one of those cloths turned out to have been used in some sort of dastardly deed too, well, I was going to look guilty as sin, wasn't I? So I kept it hidden in my bag and hoped for the best.
I see.
Oh, it does feel good to get it off my chest though. Stress is no good for the complexion.
She has really good skincare for a woman who does not whose age is literally ambiguous. So the cloth that disappeared 18 years ago, the one that the victim was wrapped in, just happens to reappear in the fountain at the same time as the body. Okay. Let's see if we can connect some dots. No, we cannot. We have some things we need to question. We already talked with these guys. We do need to talk with this lady. With, Judy. Yeah, lead pharmacist, true. Where were you before you rejoined us here, Miss Bound?
I had to go and tell our visitors we're closed. Oh, and hand out a little something in apology. Was there something you wanted to talk to me about?
Yes, a few things, actually. Not least of all. Whew. The fact that I think you might be the one who set the poison gas trap. Are there 2 serving cards here in the gallery, Miss Bound?
Oh, yes. Why do you ask?
A certain so-called artist showed us this sketch. I couldn't help but notice the color of the tablecloth. It's light blue.
Light blue? I'm afraid your friend must be mistaken. I only use white tablecloths, freshly laundered and starched. Like the perfect wrinkle-free one that come on the card here is in the fountain room, right?
Oh wait, that was, K.
Exactly. If I saw so much as a blemish, I would replace it right away.
Did the color of the tablecloth in the sketch simply be a mistake on Mary's part? Do you have any idea what could have been... what you might have been doing when this sketch was drawn?
Let me see. I appear to be carrying out my usual duties.
I'd like to ask you a bit more about these duties, if I may. Let's see what she has to do about her work. What exactly were you doing when this sketch was drawn? Because from what I can see, your card doesn't have any tea set on it. I was delivering some chocolate to the investigating officers.
Aw, now I'm jealous. I love chocolate.
Well, there are a few left over, so here, for you both. I made them myself. I hope you like them.
Woohoo! Thanks, Miss Bound.
Well, why not? A little melted, but I suppose that's because they've been sitting around in her pocket. You could get better at checking who's talking through the to your credit. You only messed up a few times of the transition. Oh, yeah, it's true. That's fair.
They're super sweet. I love them.
I'm very glad to hear it. They might not be the prettiest, but I'm grateful for the energy boost nonetheless. Perhaps they could do with a little less sugar. The original ice sculptures minted 18 years ago, correct? How did you manage to recreate them? Oh, you know about what happened back then. In that case, you might also know that I took pictures of them during the contest. I commissioned the creation of the set replicas based on these photographs for the current exhibit. But why go through the trouble of creating replicas? Mr. Frost's Zodiac series was his greatest unfinished masterwork. I wanted to see it completed at least. Or rather, recompleted. It was my fault that the original set melted in the first place after all. I see. And is there any particular reason why the winter and autumn wings look so similar? Oh my! You really think they look alike? Perhaps I used some decorations from the one and the other by accident? He's clearly lying. I don't have the evidence to prove it just yet. What kind of pharmaceutical recipes are in the Ultimate Cookbook? Oh, there are so many. It would take a while to go through them, Al. But if you really want to know, well, then let's start the show. Oh my god, she's gonna sing? Come join me as we sing this song. It's a nifty 32 hours long. Oh my god. Now one by one, we'll sing things that the world's best little cookbook brings.
What do you think, Mr. Edgeworth? Want to listen to the rest?
No, that won't be necessary. That was funny. Anything else we need to examine? There was Eddie. Ooh. North's here marked with a nice autumny looking tree, and yet it leads to the winter wing. Well, I suppose it's all part of a deception.
I could steal the leaves if you like, make things a little more wintry.
Well, I think you better all leave them alone, Kay.
This thing in front of the door is a fir tree, right?
Yes, they're usually associated with winter, but this door leads to the autumn wing. So it's... She does it, Oh my god. Nope. Let's see. We already spoke to her. What didn't I investigate yet?
Statues of a man and a woman in old-timey clothes. Did Paul Holly make these as well?
Yes, it seems he created them later in his life, once he has begun making a name for himself. His wife pushed him to sculpt 2 of them in ancient gods, and he couldn't say no to his beloved. Actually, is the beautiful goddess Venus and her humble servant. Wow, he was a wife guy.
Wow, talk about putting your goddess on a literal pedestal.
He was a wife guy, that's for certain. Oh, we need to talk to Eddie about him. Tell me, Thunder, what kind of person is Miss Bound? Huh? Wait a minute. Don't tell me you've got a thing for her, Master. Wow, he really did not pay attention to the previous game where Edgeworth has proven that he's extremely not attracted to women. I do not. Chill, I'm just yanking your chain. Anyway, what can I say about Judes? Oh, she's a real brave trooper for one. What else do you call someone who waits around for 18 years like she has for Samson? Even after his extended family kicked her out of his place.
What? They threw her out?
Yep, Jude wasn't technically part of the family, so there was nothing she could do. She had nothing, nobody, and no job after Samson took the fall. So she had no choice but to take what he taught her to make her own way in showbiz. She's retired from all that now, though. Yes, why did she retire? She finally made enough to buy the old place back. She even got the ultimate cookbook back from the Tangerelle group after they basically stole it. Ah! Yes, this place and everything to do with it was all she ever cared about. So she just wanted back. All of it. That seems to be very sympathetic in Miss Bound's plight. From a less charitable perspective, she has, in a way, taken everything of Mr. Tangerelle for herself. Okay, now we can logic 1 and 2 together. The Ultimate Cookbook contains instructions on how to create the poison gas. The current owner of the book is none other than Miss Judy Bound.
No way. You mean...
I'm afraid I do. Miss Bound would have been perfectly capable of setting up the gas trap. Finally, we can prove that she's been lying to us. I think... Okay. Let's continue onwards. And that's that. What's left now is to await the results of the tests on the teapot. And to be continued. And by to be continued, I mean to be continued now. Literally now. I don't have anything better to do with my time. The test results have just come in, sir. Traces of ubiquium were found in the teapot. They were?
Just like Mr. Edgeworth said.
Curse you! You better not think this means you're beat me! You really need to drop this obsession with coming up in first, Mr. Winner. We're all on the same side here, remember? We're all trying to get to the truth. What? First is best! Everyone knows it's better to be a winner than a loser! That's really no way for a prosecutor to think. Not a successful one, anyway. But yeah. She needed just to save his ego. Enough. Mr. Edgeworth, please refrain from taunting the boy.
Ignore him, Eustace. He isn't worthy of your attention.
But, Gavel... Oh, alright.
Why don't I take care of things from here for now? In the meantime, you can perform the far more important task of going and checking on the victim.
Yeah, good idea. I'll be right back.
Excellent. We shall see you shortly then.
Mr. Wynne is annoying, but totally harmless. Judge Gavel, on the other hand, she has claws.
Now...
Miss Bound! Miss Bound! I love whenever she steps in as a boss fight. Yeah!
Miss Bound, perhaps you could explain why traces of ubiquium are found in your teapot?
I have no idea there was anything like that in there. Perhaps it was one of the ingredients in the dishwashing soap I use? So you're telling the court that you did not...
So you're telling the court you did not intentionally put ubiquium in the teapot?
Yes, exactly. Why would I? Until today, I had no idea that it could be used to make poison gas.
Objection!
You're a trained actress, are you not, Miss Bound? I'd have thought you would be a more convincing liar. What do you mean? You have access to the Ultimate Cookbook, correct? A book that just happens to contain instructions on how to create the poison gas used in an attack. Meaning, it was perfectly possible for you to know exactly how to make it.
You're very well informed, Mr. Edgeworth. Miss Bound, is what Mr. Edgeworth said true?
The book does contain information how to make the poison gas, yes.
But the fact that I have seen it doesn't make me guilty.
Can I ask exactly how the gas was triggered?
The victim used the low torch to heat the lid up of one of the display cases, thereby melting the ubiquium. I see. But he locked himself in...
Oh wait. Oh my god. I need to... Yeah, most of the time we translation easily. It's usually between like when the character... It's mostly with the genders. Like if the boy is speaking, then I'm going to continue.
But he locked himself in the room too, didn't he? Surely that... And the fact that he was triggered it himself. Wouldn't it point to it being a suicide attempt?
So she's not willing to admit it to anything.
Furthermore, where would I have gotten a hold of the infesticide ultra?
Oh, I don't know. Perhaps you stole it?
You know, I did bump into Moody Judy a week or so ago. And that very evening I noticed my infesticide ultra has gone missing. Did he? Surely it didn't. Alicia, you carry your bag of pharmaceuticals with you everywhere, don't you? Then there would have been any number of opportunities for someone other than myself to steal it from you.
That's true. And I don't have any hard evidence that it was definitely Miss Bound who stole it. Judes, there's clearly something you're not telling us. Why didn't you come clean, We all know you'd never hurt someone for no reason. So...
Not you too. You think I'm guilty as well, Mr. Fender?
Can you blame me? I've got one wing disguised as another. A gas trap in one for a display case. And you're the proprietor of the establishment. It's looking a lot like you did it, kiddo.
You've got this all wrong. You have to remember, the gallery doesn't have any security cameras, nor any security personnel. So if any ill-intentioned person or any other wanted to get it undetected, I don't think they'd have much of a problem. Wow, you're practically asking to be burglarized.
Burglarized. Make this place into a burger joint. Burglarized. Burglar. That's a Joker from Balatro. Balatro reference.
You need to be more careful. A great thief could have a field day in here too. In there.
And I don't think she's joking.
And actually, it seems Mr. Gusto did in fact enter the gallery before it opened. Sheesh.
Judy's one tough cookie. She's not budging an inch. Maybe it's time to rock a little technique Gregory taught me back in the day. And what technique might that be? So hear me out. Oh my god, it's the one song. This is the All Rise to the National Anthem, chat. Since we're not getting anywhere by focusing only on the here and now, maybe we ought to approach this from a different angle and look for the past clues instead. Turnabout your thinking. So my father used this method as well. He pretty much originated it. I mean... No, he wasn't the originator. Technically, it was Ryunosuke. But, like, he was the originator. He held the title of originator until, like, 2015. When The Greatest Attorney came out. So he was the OG originator. Alright, let's run through the old Think-a-tron. How was Judes involved in what happened back then? According to Miss Bound, it was because of her that Mr. Frost's favorite ice sculptures melted. And yet, his sculptures are here on display in this very gallery today. Is it possible that she... Thank you, Fender. I think I know what I need to ask Miss Bound now. Don't thank me. Thank your pops. Now take it away, Milesy. I'll grab the popcorn. Miss Bound, you say that you were the one who caused Mr. Frost's creations to melt 18 years ago, correct?
I'm afraid so. I was young and foolish, and it was a terrible accident.
Yet, what you did allowed you to open this exhibit, no?
What do you mean?
Yes. What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? If you're going to ask such a question, perhaps a formal testimony from Miss Bound might be the best. Yes, perhaps it might. I'd like to know a little more about the Zodiac Hall. And why Miss Bound decided to dedicate this space to Frost's work. Very well. If you believe it to be relevant to the case, I will allow it. Miss Bound, would you mind?
Not at all.
I'll do whatever it takes to prove I'm innocent. Then please, if you could give us some background on the Zodiac Hall and the pieces on display here. Okay. It took 18 years, but at long last, I was finally able to buy Samson home back a little while ago. But a place like this is expensive to maintain, so I decided to turn it into an art gallery. To that end, I collected as many Paul-Leak pieces as I could from around the world. Because, if I'm honest, it's always been something of a dream of mine to open a space dedicated to his work. Okay. Thank you for your testimony, Miss Bound. How wonderful it is that you are able to fulfill your dream. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, everything seems entirely above board to me. Judge Gavel, that was simply the witness's preliminary statement. As you surely know, the value of that testimony cannot be evaluated without some due cross-examination. Spoken like a true attorney. Very well. You may do what you must. You know, I speak so much of Verity's accents that, like, it feels a little weird on the tongue. Because in order to make my French accent, I have to curl my tongue a little, and it's kind of uncomfortable. Yeah, sorry. I was just checking something. Sorry. I'm still here. I still exist. Sorry for the weird absence. I still exist. I'm still alive.
Hold it!
Tell me more about this dream of yours, Miss Bound. Well, what I really wanted was to open a gallery with Samson, of course. Man, she's so pretty. A gallery of dance, a gallery of song, a gallery of gaiety, a gallery of gaiety and candy all day long. That was the idea, anyway. And there I thought art was to be appreciated in silence, not accompanied by musical numbers. Alas, Mr. Tangaroa transgressed against the edicts of the goddess of justice. In as such, that part of your dream may go permanently unfulfilled. No! Samson he's innocent! That awful prosecutor refused to listen, but it's true. He never hurt anybody. Mr. Tangaroa gave a false confession in order to protect Miss Bound. The two of them really did what they could to protect one another, didn't they? Sculptures in the Winter Wing won replicas. They were the very ones from 18 years ago. Yeah, I forgot that plot twist. I need to show her I'm aware of that. I'll never get to the truth. So... I'm gonna continue pressing statements to see if I find anything. Oblique. That was Mr. Frost's pseudonym, correct?
Yes, he adopted it while he was working as a sculptor in France.
I see. I'm curious about some of the pieces in your collection, more specifically, how you were able to acquire the Taurus and Gemini sculptures. It was my understanding that Mr. Frost died before he could complete them.
Yes, I was able to create replicas from the Winter Wing based on photos from the sculptures he made.
Really? Perhaps you could go into more detail on that.
Because, if I'm honest, it's always been something of a dream of mine to open a space dedicated to his work. I was able to create replicas for the Winter Wing based on photos of the sculptures he made.
Did you know?
Objection!
Okay, that was a mistake. I need to press again. Oh no, she's crying. I did not mean to make her cry, Chad. Also, these are crocodile tears.
Fine, then shall we continue?
So tears were an act. I suppose she is an accomplished actor. Me when the actor can act.
Hold it!
These photos you mentioned, you mean the ones you yourself took at Mr. Frost's room 18 years ago?
Yes, you certainly know a lot about what happened back then, Mr. Edgeworth. So those statues in the Winter Wing were just copies? And I didn't even get to see them before they melted.
No, the sculptures in question were definitely not replicas. Which means, Miss Bound is lying.
I know. Such an awful shame. And after I went to the trouble to recreate them too.
Sculptures in the Winter Wing weren't replicas, they were... Okay. Wasn't. Okay, time to save scum! I love scumming for saves. That's such a good and healthy habit to have.
Objection!
But that was it. I needed. Why would there be blood inside of the statue? I'm afraid you've run out of room, Miss Bound. I can tell you can lie all you like, but you can't deny the results of tests conducted on the sculpture's remains. And those tests leave no room for ambiguity. What you had on display weren't replicas. They were the very statues Mr. Frost carved 18 years ago.
Ooh, I could probably help explain how they worked it out if you like, dear. It's the sugar, you see. You might think sugar is sugar, but the composition is actually very unique. You could probably create these statues, but the sweet secret of their chemical makeup? No chance.
Thank you, Miss Cone. I don't recall asking for help, but still. To put it simply, the statues didn't disappear back then because they melted. They disappeared because you spirited them away and kept them hidden for these 18 long years.
What? She kept a pair of flavored ice sculptures around somewhere for all that time?
It's not the most out there idea in the world, assuming you had a big enough icebox.
Overruled!
Quiet, all of you. Miss Bound, have you anything to say to your defense?
So you already learned that much.
Should I take that to mean you admit to having hidden the flavored ice sculptures in question?
No,
I admit to no such thing. You haven't proven that I was the one who took those statues away. And you won't, because it would have been impossible for me to do so in the first place. The police were already here when they disappeared. How could I have done it without them noticing? Well, how indeed. I don't yet know exactly how you did it, but I'm far from ready to say that it was impossible for you to have stolen them away.
You're a very persistent man, aren't you, Mr. Edgeworth?
I am indeed, and I won't stop until I get to the truth.
I see. Then I'd better tell you exactly what I did that day 18 years ago.
Let's cross-examine.
The whole time before judging began, I was waiting upstairs in our living area on standby. During the judging, I had to go change for the camera's film cartridge for Samson. Before I could take the camera back to Samson, I discovered Mr. Frost's body. Later, around when your father arrived, I began to make the rounds and serve tea to everyone present. That was when I saw Mr. Gusto entering Mr. Frost's room. And those were my movements on the day it all happened. I hardly see how you can take issue with any of that.
That's for us to decide, Miss Mound.
Are you saying there's a contradiction to your story, Mr. Edgeworth?
I'm more focused on proving the fact that she did indeed steal those statues. The question is, when she would have had the opportunity to do so. If I can pinpoint that, I might be able to prove that what exactly she got up to. The whole time before judging began, I was waiting upstairs in the living area on standby. During the judging, I had to go change the camera's film cartridge for Samson.
Hold it!
Were you the only one who was able to move around freely during the judging?
Well, I wouldn't say freely, but I was able to move around more easily than the contestants, yes. Even so, I could hardly have spirited the sculptures away while Samson was standing right here. There, could I? And I ran straight off to change the film as soon as he asked me. I wouldn't have had time.
So changing the films in the camera as requested by Mr. Tangaroa. Was this the moment when Miss Bound stole the sculptures? I have a feeling I needed to, it can't have been the moment she did it. I better listen carefully to what she says.
But before I could take the camera back to Samson, I discovered Mr. Frost's body.
Okay, that was not... No. Let's make this one. You entered the room containing Mr. Tangaroa's work before bringing the camera back to him, correct?
Yes, I heard the sound of something collapsing. Samson? Are you in there? Ah!
The sound of the chocolate chip... the sound of the chocolate chip falling over after a certain someone took a bite of their supports. And Mr. Tangaroa was still in Mr. Gusto's room when he found the body.
Yes, I'm fairly sure that was the case. He was judging each room in order, and he liked it to take his time.
So the point is which he discovered Mr. Frost's body. Was this the when Miss Bound stole the sculptures? Do you think so?
Later, around when your father arrived, I began to make the rounds and serve tea to everybody present.
That could have been when she stole it. Because the teacups were cold. That's my theory, at least. There's, like, I forgot why they said, like, the cups were cool. It was because of the statues. That makes sense.
Hold it!
Just as you did today.
Yes, I went around and offered everybody working on an investigation a cup of tea.
Present company included. I remember it well. You were there, here, there, upstairs, downstairs, everybody with that little card of yours. Interesting. And did anything strike you as strange around that time? Oh yeah, Gregory was singing praises of Judy's tea, and I think you mentioned the saucer was cold. The saucer was cold. Yeah, I did play the game. I think it was in the back of my mind. I played this game like 6 years ago, so not all of it is fresh. This was the moment. Miss Bound, I believe this was when you stole the sculptures.
I hate to contradict you, but the fountain room was full of witnesses at that point, Mr. Fender included.
Are you suggesting that they somehow got the sculptures out of Mr. Frost's room right under everyone's noses? That is precisely what I'm suggesting. Miss Bounce stole these ice sculptures, and she did it by hiding them here.
Take that!
I mean, there are some solutions that I remember, and there are some I don't. That's what makes this playthrough so interesting. My father and Thunder had no idea that one of the sculptures was mere inches away from them. Because it wasn't a tea set you were pushing around, Miss Bounce, but a hidden ice sculpture in a glass case. Ah!
Overruled!
Surely such a thing would have been impossible. How would a case of that size fit on a serving cart? It would have been spotted immediately.
Objection!
You said anything about a serving cart? I'm not sure I follow, Mr. Edgeworth. What are you suggesting she used instead? I'm suggesting Miss Bound used this to transport the sculptures. The lift
Take
cart.
that!
And this is... the cart that Miss Bound used to move the flavored ice sculptures from Mr. Frost's room 18 years ago. And it would appear to be the very same cart that's still here with us in this fountain room. Well, we originally bought it to use in the contest. And you're saying that Miss Bound loaded Mr. Frost's sculptures onto the cart and carried them off? I am. As you can imagine, all but one would need to do is lay a case on its side, add a tablecloth, and it'll look exactly like a normal saving cart, thus allowing her to move the sculptures around freely. Oh no! Her bra snapped! She just switched it between the last two streams. Can it be? Holy moly! Of course! That's why those saucers were so chilly. I was sitting on top of a big block of ice. Jeez, how could you? Impressive. Then again, you are Mr. Gregory Edgeworth's son. I should have expected no less. There isn't a scrap of evidence that I stole the sculptures all those years ago now. And yet, I knew that no matter what I said or did, I'd always be under a cloud of suspicion. Yes, you corrupted me with the joke. So you admit it? You admit that you stole them from Mr. Frost's room? Yes, I do. I took those sculptures and their glass cases out of that room 18 years ago. As Mr. Edgeworth correctly deduced, I dressed the lift cart as a serving cart to do it, and slipped in and out of Mr. Frost's room while I was going around and serving tea to everybody. In the end, I'd moved not only the sculptures, but the flavored ice zodiac blocks as well. Zodiac blocks? I feel like I've seen them for myself before. These huge block of ice on display here. It must be incredibly heavy. Oh, maybe not. What with it being hollow in the inside. I think there is another thing that that could be it. Like, I think I know. There is another twist I remember, but I'm not sure if it's correct. And when we come to it, I think I'll say what it is. If the Winter Wing really is an exact replica of Mr. Frost's room from 18 years ago, then even though my father never saw them because they had already melted, the zodiac blocks must have still been in the victim's room back then as well. When I had finished moving the two ice sculptures and the two zodiac blocks out, I took two fresh, empty cases in Mr. Frost's room and put them where the original two had been. Only the sculptures had been kept in glass cases, you see, to protect them from being damaged. The blocks were a little more robust, so they had been displayed as is. As stated in the contest rules, we were responsible for providing all display materials, including cases. Meaning it would be easy for her to prepare all those empty spares she swapped in. Mr. Frost's room contained quite a few other flavored ice works in progress. I figured if I melted them down somehow, the resulting puddle would look like it came from the sculptures. And that is how the sculptures from 18 years ago came to be in the Winter Wing today.
I have to say, Mr. Edgeworth, that's quite the confession.
Indeed, and I think she offered it so willingly because she knows there's nothing we can do with it. That's all I have to tell you.
However, despite everything I've shared, you can't charge me with anything now, can you? What? How'd you figure that?
Oh my. I would have thought you might know at least that much, even we're at a crime scene. I suggest you memorize the various statutes of limitations outlined in this book. Oh my god. Statutes for dummies! Oh, I love you game. I love this game. It's so funny. So goofy. One stream later, after describing all the ways that the police and Von Karma tortured an innocent man, look at this Statute for Dummies book.
Statues of what?
Is that Sebastian's homework? Yeah. And he got an F. Simply put, Kay, prosecutors only have a certain amount of time within which they can put a suspect on trial for a given crime. Yeah, for theft, it's 7 years, and for murder, it's 15. Let's take a closer look, shall we? Oh, it just showed it.
So it's different for every crime? Murder 15 years, theft 7 years. Ah!
Yes, Miss Bound stole the ice sculptures 18 years ago. Yeah, he is getting PTSD. So it's too late to have her arrested for that crime.
I don't believe it. Theft is a serious matter, especially when it involves the removal of evidence from a crime scene.
But it's also the body that you moved.
However, as you yourself just pointed out, Miss Bound can no longer be prosecuted for a crime, rendering your revelation rather pointless. Wouldn't you say, Miles Edgeworth?
Objection!
I wouldn't be so sure about that. Well, you see, the theft of the ice sculptures is in my principal interest here. I found the body that reappeared 18 years after the theft to be consistently more interest. Are you suggesting that I also hid Mr. Frost's body? I am indeed.
But how do you keep a body hidden for 18 years without anybody finding it?
Yeah, it's in the statue. By hiding it in a very unusual way.
Ooh, now this is interesting.
Are you telling me you know where the body has been all this time, Mr. Edgeworth? It's not such a big leap if you think about what Miss Bound has told us already. Let's just say it wasn't just flavored ice that she removed from Mr. Frost's room back then. Very well. If you're confident in this claim, let's put it to the test. Tell me, Mr. Edgeworth, where exactly was Mr. Frost's body hidden? Well, inside a statue.
Take that!
A photograph of Mr. Frost's works. And of the victim's body, Your Honor. You will have to forgive me, but I don't see what you mean. Where exactly in this photograph is Mr. Frost's body? Yeah, this I remembered. It's behind the cloak.
Take that!
The Gemini sculpture? Yes, it may look like a sculpture at first glance. But it is in fact Mr. Frost's corpse. What? Surely you can't be serious! I don't see anything in the photograph to support such a wild claim.
Objection!
Wow. I swear to God, curling my tongue so much while doing the French accent is a weird exercise on its own. It's like I feel the middle of my tongue feeling kind of sore, and it's because like French language requires a lot of tongue curling when you do the accent. Or at least my attempt of an accent. That's because a certain piece of evidence was used to hide the body in plain sight. And what piece of evidence might that be? The court demands that you present what you used to conceal the body.
Take that!
It's a cloth. One of the cloths from the outer wing. Yes, when it's made particularly just in the right way, it looks so visually convincing, you might mistake it for ice. I wish a certain character in this case could... I wish a certain character was in this case so he could see the sculpture. Yeah, I wish that was him too. Would be pretty fucked up, by the way.
Oh, it is, dear. You can make it look just about anything, really. Even blazing fire. And the right shade of blue would make it look like ice. Yes, exactly like it, in fact.
Overruled.
It's good that we have a scientist around. Very tragic.
Is it not the case that a certain special device is needed to generate those colors, though?
Objection!
Huh. If you would dare to take another look at the photograph in the winter wing, Your Honor. You'll notice that there's a small box connected at the bottom of the Gemini display case.
That's...
One of the very light-emitting devices in question. Detective Gumshoe even confirmed its presence. In fact, this particular device went missing 18 years ago. Back then, it was no doubt firmly connected to the cloth inside the display case. Which means Miss Down had no choice but to take it with her when she removed the sculpture. I got there in the end. So you see, this cloth and the light-emitting device were being used to create the illusion that Mr. Frost's body was in fact a statue carved from ice.
No. This can't be.
Wait, so you're telling me that when we took that photo from us in the winter wing? Yes, we were standing right in front of the body.
But the body and the cloth were both recovered from the fountain. Why were they found there if the body was supposed to be in the winter wing disguised as a sculpture?
Objection!
There we go. Because there would have been no mystery as to how the body would have been hidden if we found it as is. Miss Down needed to remove Mr. Frost from the winter wing in order to throw us off the scent.
Overruled.
Ridiculous. I don't recall even her sneaking around behind their backs to throw a body into the fountain.
No, and she didn't need to, because she had another method at her disposal. A trusty lift card. The same card that has proved so useful in executing her original theft.
What?
And being the ice sculpture, the body would be decently, well, cryogenically preserved, yeah. I believe she wheeled the body into one of the other wings and floated it down to stream to the fountain. The frozen body, being quite solid, probably got stuck somewhere along the way. Which is why only the cloth appeared at first. The cloth Miss Scone discovered.
And then, the body allowed afterwards once it had thawed enough? It's an ingenious theory, Mr. Edgeworth. But, can you prove that it was me?
It seems a little unfair to expect me to accept your accusations without proof, don't you think?
Well, what about an eyewitness? Do you think someone might have spotted her when she was moving the body?
As a matter of fact, I do. And the contradiction in the pieces of evidence was provided. Will shed light on exactly how Miss Bow moved the body as well.
Well, Mr. Edgeworth, do you have any evidence to support your allegation?
Of course. I have a piece of compelling proof right here.
Then please present it to the court. What evidence do you have that proves Miss Bound had acted as you claim?
I mean, I think it's the sketches, but I'm not certain. Oh well.
Take that!
Yeah, it is.
More drawings.
This wasn't from memory. I genuinely guessed and guessed correctly. She's pushing the blue card. Yeah, exactly.
And is that me?
Yes, Mr. Botts drew the sketches of people as they passed through the fountain room. But what I'm interested in is the card that we see here.
Miss Bound's serving card. What about it?
You don't see it. She's using the same trick she used 18 years ago. We know that Miss Bound was busy moving Mr. Frost's body when this picture was being drawn.
What? If I may, I don't see Mr. Frost's body anywhere in that sketch.
All I see is a picture of me delivering chocolates to everyone. Really? Then allow me to direct your attention to the colour of the tablecloth, Miss Bound. I'd originally thought it was Mr. Butts who made an error, but he assured me that it couldn't possibly be the case. This tablecloth appears to be light blue. Yes, a shade of tablecloth that Miss Bound doesn't seem to own. The cloth only appears to be light blue due to the body hiding just underneath. But the shape of the cart is perfectly rectangular, just as one would expect. Surely it would be immediately obvious that the tablecloth was being draped over the body.
Objection!
Not if the body has been placed inside one of the hollow zodiac blocks in the winter wing. Place one of those in the lift cart, and it'd be easy to pass muster as a regular serving cart, wouldn't you agree? Court of Justice! Miss Bound, surely now you must admit that you moved the body just as you did 18 years ago. I don't expect you to deduce all that from a simple sketch. But that sketch alone isn't enough to prove your theory, is it? You needn't worry about that front. My case isn't rest solely on Mr. Bot's artwork. Once you had disposed of the body, your serving cart became a simple lift cart once more. Yeah, she's casually saying Jesus Christ. For Verity God is a woman. And without a serving cart, you've had to find someplace to put your chocolates. Chocolates? The ones I was hiding out. As we saw in the sketch, you had originally placed them on top of the cart. But the chocolates you gave us came from your pocket.
Oh yeah, mine was half melted. It was still super sweet and tasty though.
Why did you suddenly feel the need to put chocolates in your pocket, Miss Bound? It was because you no longer had a serving cart to put them on. That's why. One moment, please. You have explained why Miss Bound did with the chocolates and the lift cart. But what about the tablecloth? Where did it go? Indeed, if stashing the chocolates in her pocket was the only solution she could think of, my dear Miss Bound would have the time to dispose of an entire tablecloth. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, do you have the answer for me? Miss Bound didn't hide or dispose of the tablecloth, Your Honor. In fact, it's right here in front of us. Perhaps you would care to enlighten us? Where exactly is the tablecloth Miss Bound used to hide the body? It's in the fountain. No, it's not. Fuck. Whoops. Milso grabs her hips. No, thinking back to the first time I ever met dudes. I remember her wrapping the tablecloth around her waist before going down to work. Interesting, I think it might be proved to be a vital clue. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. If the defense is done talking amongst themselves, perhaps they can finally enlighten this court? What exactly is the tablecloth used to... Oh, it's on Miss Bound's person. Yeah. Thank you for telling me what answer to pick. Right, Eddie. Miss Bound had the tablecloth on her person. And in plain view, in fact. In plain view? No! Surely you don't mean... Miss Bound. It's the cloth around your waist, isn't it? Ugh. And given that the zodiac blocks weren't kept in glass cases, that cloth would have been in direct contact with the ice. Yeah, hold her hips. Yeah, I got it. I got it eventually. All we would need to confirm, in my theory, is to test the cloth for traces of the sugar used in Miss Frost's work. The game is up, Miss Bound. It's time to come clean. You want me to test the tablecloth? Everything you said is true. I stole Alicia's infesticized ultra, and I moved Mr. Frost's body. No, she's crying. It was me. It was all me. Aw, now I'm sad.
Alicia, I'm so sorry. Last week, I went into your bag and I took it. And then, I put it in his pocket, hoping to make it look like he tried to do himself in. I also made sure to leave no fingerprints but yours, just in case the police suspected foul play.
Yeah, she's super sympathetic, and like you really wouldn't think she did anything suspicious until shit hits the fan.
But Judes, why? Weren't we supposed to be on the same side? All fighting together to free Samson? We were, but I couldn't afford to get arrested. Not yet. Not until I'd finally proven that Samson is innocent. I always planned to give myself up in the end, I swear. I know it's easy to say that now, but why do this way? Why do it this way, though? It's not like you. I'm sorry, Mr. Fender. I've caused you so much trouble. I've been the guilty party all along, ever since that day 18 years ago. Are you trying to tell us that the true culprit in the IS-7 incident was you? I committed a terrible crime. I took those sculptures, and I stole them for purely selfish reasons.
Yeah, he's so sad.
The moment Mr. Frost died, they became more than mere entries in a confectionery contest. They became the final words of Samson's favorite artist.
Yeah, poor girl.
I couldn't allow them to just melt away. Not before he came home. And that meant I couldn't let anybody near them. Not even the police. So I hid them. I knew it was wrong, but I just had to. I put them in cold storage room for safekeeping. But what I actually done was far worse than anything I could possibly imagine. Because who would have thought Mr. Frost's body itself was posing as one of the sculptures?
So she didn't know about the body when she stole the sculptures.
Samson is a kind man, a saint. He could never kill anybody, never.
Oh, I just remembered that, like, when we arrived to the crime scene, Samson's body was already taken. So somebody already did the statue switcheroo.
And yet, because of what I did, the police never found Mr. Frost's body, and Samson was found guilty. After all he'd done for me, he was my family. The only family I've ever had. He was the most important person in the entire world to me, and I...
Jude.
After his conviction, I was forced out of our home. I was finally able to return only a few days ago, and when I did, I went to the cold storage room to check up on the sculptures, and that's when I saw it. Mr. Frost's body. It had been there the whole time. Of course, by that point, the statute's limitation has expired. So I did what I did today, because it was the only way I could think to make things right.
Aw, poor girl. Seems like I misunderstood her intentions. Everything she'd done really has been for Mr. Tangaroa's sake.
Hey, what are you thinking about, Mr. Edgeworth?
Something that's been puzzling me. Why did Miss Bound use poison gas? Why not a more reliable method? Why disguise the autumn wing as the winter wing? The only reason I can think of is to confuse someone who was here 18 years ago. She knew who did it.
Yeah, I wonder what she had in mind.
If she was trying to prove Mr. Tangaroa was innocent, Miss Bound's ultimate goal must have been to find the true killer. Could she have been trying to discover the identity of the true culprit? Miss Bound, your ultimate aim was to see Mr. Tangaroa cleared of all charges, correct? And to that end, you had to expose the real killer and have the police find the body from 18 years ago. Is my understanding of your intentions correct? Edgeworth can relate to wanting anything to defend your path of the family. I wish he brought up Franny once in this case. Yeah, he should have. He really should have brought up Francisco. Exhibiting the sculptures was sure to force the killer to return to the crime scene. After all, they were the only person apart from me who knew the body was hidden in the iceberg. So they would have freaked out thinking the body was about to be discovered and come running, yeah? Exactly. Miss Bound ran the risk that the killer might successfully cover their tracks this time. In the worst case scenario, they might have been able to remove Mr. Frost's body from the scene. So how could she lure the true killer into revealing themselves without putting vital evidence at risk? Oh, I see what you're getting at. You're saying that's why the autumn wing was all winter wingy. I am. You were betting on one thing, Miss Bound, weren't you? If you ever opened the Pisces case you had so carefully disguised the Gemini case, would be the real perpetrator of the IS-7 incident.
No. But that would mean the real killer was...
Enough! Not another word! Do you realize the implications you're saying, Mr. Edgeworth? Are you prepared to stand behind the accusation you clearly are about to make? This Bound set a trap for Mr. Frost's killer. Meaning that whoever found themselves caught in the trap is highly likely to be the guilty party. I also like how Jude hiding the body also relates to the theme of legacy in this case. She didn't want his legacy to be gone. To accuse someone without any evidence is not to be done lightly, so. Should I really go ahead and make my accusation and name Mr. Frost's killer nonetheless? My ultimate goal is to see the truth exposed. Case 3-5 is when the game starts running and doesn't... Yeah, it does. Even though I'd say that like the first two cases are also bangers. To do that, I need to seize the moment. Yeah, no, it is. It's peak, but like... I'd say that like the first case had like the killer threatening the... knight on knife point, which was really hype, and the funny introductions. But I do think that like this case is when like the emotional, like from this case onwards is like when the emotional meat is being thoroughly simmered and served. I know exactly who it is to blame for the I-7 incident. Well, it's the only piece of the puzzle that's been left unresolved.
Take that!
Carmelo Gusto.
Mr. Gusto? The victim of the poison gas attack is the perpetrator behind the IS-7 incident? Gusty!
Mr. Gusto. Miss Bound? As we have established, they're great moments, but there's still much more. Yeah, pretty much. But you need that setup. You need that setup, though. And you set up the poison gas trap in order to catch them. Do you dispute the facts thus far?
You're a very impressive man, Mr. Edgeworth. Just like your father. And of course, you're absolutely right.
And perhaps you could tell us what happened in your own words.
Of course. I have nothing to hide anymore.
Yeah, I know. So I might as well tell you everything.
As you said, I set a trap here in the gallery to try and catch Mr. Frost's killer. Before we opened, I made sure that the door to the autumn wing was the only one that was unlocked. When opening the time came, I went around to unlock the doors of the various rooms and found that the autumn wing has been locked from the inside. The killer is on the other side of the door. The thought, well, it frightened me.
And then she simply walked away, leaving him to fall victim to her poison gas trap.
When I heard Mr. Gusto was being treated for gas inhalation, that's when I knew he was the murderer. And that's what was left for the police to find Mr. Frost's body, and then Samson would finally be proven innocent, at least
That was my plan. Judes. Why did... Wait, I need to get into character. Judes, why didn't you tell me? You know I'm always here for you, right? We could have found another way. It didn't have to be like this. Thank you, Mr. Fender. You've been so kind to me all these years. But I'm the one who created this mess, so it was up to me to try and clean it up. I didn't care what it took, as long as I could get Samson out of that awful place. Judy. 18 years ago, the police managed to cover up the fact Mr. Frost's baddie has gone missing. If I went to them now and said it had reappeared, I was afraid that they might have tried to cover things up again. Yeah. Pretty much. It seems like, I like how it's a through line from the first case. Like, from the first game. Yeah, exactly. So I worked to set off a very public incident here in the gallery, in front of as many witnesses as possible. I'm so sorry, Judy. You, Samson, Gregory, I let you all down. Fender, this can't be easy for him. You were just an 18-year-old boy, it's fine! No, I'm the one who should be apologizing. Mr. Edgeworth, Mr. Fender, I hope you can forgive me. And whatever punishment I have to face, I'm ready to accept it. But please, if I may ask something of you, it's that you simply must clear Samson's name. The way to the truth of these past 18 years has come to light was unexpected to say the least. And yet, it has only been set us down the path towards an even more shocking end. Another TBC. Okay, chat. I am going to refill my tea. Engage brain rot again with your mom going, it's the reason I'm dying, guilt tripping Alir. Huh. I still need to play Engage. I think that, like, because of the weird backlash towards the game, I skipped it. But I need to go back to Engage. I also want to refill some tea, so I'll be back in a few minutes. I'll be putting on the jazz music in the meantime. So you guys can sit in silence. Okay. So right as I was about to exit the stream, to get the food, I almost broke my cup, and I'm really glad I did it because it's one of my favorites. Because if there's one of the signs of growing up, for me, is a growing enthusiasm for two things: stationery and mugs. Yeah, it was so close to falling, and I'm glad because it would have sucked. And I don't want to channel my inner Larry, you know? It would have been funny, it would have been kind of ironic, but also not the good kind of irony. I love mugs, completely understand. Yeah, I love mugs as well. There's also a bunch of, like, sometimes when I go to, like, nerd or anime cons, like, I see that people are, like, selling custom mug designs, and I actually bought quite a few. I also remember that, like, when I lived in a dorm, like when I lived in dorms, I brought my own, if you wouldn't mind reading on chat, yeah, sure, I can do that. Engage brain rot again, like all Fire Emblem, but yeah, funny how you mentioned Eddie being a child and shouldn't blame himself. Similar plot happened in the game I was streaming last night. I see. Ladder, the committee's view. Oh shit, is a committee? So, Eddie's sad. Kay and Edgeworth are default, and so are Verity and Delicia. And meanwhile, Larry is just like this. What is he trying to do here? He's just like disassociating. He's bound. Are you feeling a little calmer now? Yeah, Larry in the background. It's funny. This is a very sad and serious case, and suddenly it's fucking Larry there. So weird. Yes. Good. Then allow me to get to the point, regardless of your intentions. Yeah, he's returning to the chair. Yeah, he is staring at the butt of the cherub. Regardless of your intentions, you broke the law. Yes, I understand. Nevertheless, I understand that you did what you did in order to prove Mr. Tangaro's innocence. Therefore, if the real culprit really is someone else, then we have a duty to investigate the case.
Overruled!
Oh my goodness, not the committee. There is nothing to suggest that anything nefarious took place in the official IS-7 incident records. Cap. Big cap, Miss Gavel. And right now, there is nothing to suggest that we should take Miss Bound at her word either. So our first order of business should be to arrest the culprit behind the case before us, Miss Bound herself.
Objection!
Yeah, except the dude dying. Yeah, and the dude dying. There's a lot of... This case is such a weird blend of so many tones, and it really manages to juggle it, which is one of my favorite things about Ace Attorney. Yeah, pretty nefarious. Especially since they're all those prosecutors who would think nothing of twisting the facts.
Overruled!
Are you suggesting that the committee at the time overlooked such a prosecutor? You have a cat now? Lucky! I don't have a place in the cabin for my cat. I want a cat as well. I love kitties. Love them so much. Every game should have a cat. Good. Your cat just walked in the room. Good. I have a friend. It's like a lot of my mutuals have cats. And I think of like one of the nice things is that like when your mutuals have cats, like you also become really familiar with like their little mannerisms and like sometimes like like because I know these cats, I also know to distinguish between their meows. And it's really nice. For example, there's this one Siamese cat that my friend has, and like he has the smallest fucking meows I have heard in my life. That's for you and your people to figure out. However, it is a fact that the autopsy report was faked. Seeing as Mr. Frost's body was only found just now. Now really something Mr. Von Karma. There really is something Mr. Von Karma in you, Mr. Edgeworth. How so exactly? By continually defying the will of the committee and bending the truth to fit your needs. That's how. Perhaps it is time for you to understand how the committee, sees this case. Well, just because she was collaborating with us for the past hour or so does not mean she's on our side. The committee is willing to accept Mr. Von Karma falsified Mr. Frost's autopsy report. Even still, Mr. Von Karma only managed to have Mr. Tangaroa convicted as an accomplice. I personally have come to believe that the real culprit behind the IS-7 incident is Miss Bound. Her plan to poison and kill Mr. Gusto today was her attempt to frame him for Mr. Frost's murder. Oh shit. We still have some work to do, and this is how the committee sees things, is it? It is, as always. It is, as always. I act solely in service of law and order. It sounds to me like all she's doing is acting in service of the committee and covering up the truth. And if I can't change her mind, there will be no saving Mr. Tangaroa or Mr. Bound. Okay. Even still, Mr. Von Karma only managed to have Mr. Tangaroa convicted as an accomplice. I personally have to come to believe that the real culprit behind the IS-7 incident is Miss Bound. Her plan to poison Mr. Kill was her attempt to frame him for Mr. Frost's murder.
Hold it!
How? Why would Miss Bound have chosen to frame Mr. Gusto for the murder? No doubt because he suspected her of being the real culprit. He may have entered what he thought was the wing-tailed wing simply to see if the Gemini statue was genuine. Little did he know that he would be greeted by a trap designed to silence him. A trap that nearly worked.
Objection!
Do you have any evidence to support that line of reasoning?
Unfortunately, Mr. Gusto remains in critical condition.
It will be difficult to prove anything until he regains consciousness.
In other words,
there is little we can do for now. On the contrary, there is plenty we can do. You still have not grasped the situation, have you? Then allow me to spell it out for you. We have all the evidence we need to explain both the IS-7 incident and the poison gas attack. We have therefore determined that there is no need to investigate in either case any further. Do we now? We don't. I don't think we do, Miss Gavel. I really don't think we do. We still don't know why the chocolate why the chocolate piece disappeared. There's a lot of holes here, my girl. My friend. My broski. Whew. When I get more followers, we're gonna do a cat reviewing video. Yeah, there's still shit we're missing.
Hold it!
All the evidence you need.
in the matter of the IS-7 incident,
We have a body. Hold on. I got a message.
as for the poison gas attack, we have the sources of the two chemicals in Miss Bound's confession.
Who threw tomatoes? Hello? Why did he throw tomatoes at her? Aside from the fact, like, she's being a roadblock in the case.
And as for you, Mr. Edgeworth,
We have also enough evidence.
to see that you yourself would have to answer the committee in a formal hearing.
Oh my god. Yeah, she's an absolute bitch in here, but we love her. She's such a bitch. What a bitch. She's such a bitch. And she's not that nice, and she's not my sis.
Whoa, that doesn't sound good.
Don't worry, Malzarino. Nothing else. You're always more than welcome at Edgeworth & Co. Ugh. Your Honor, I'd greatly appreciate if we could stay focused on the matter at hand.
Of course. Now, where was I?
Hold it!
You really mean to assert that there are no loose ends left to investigate? None at all.
None of the evidence has been examined at length, and there is nothing more to be learned from them.
Therefore, I see no need to further prolong this trial. This court finds that
Objection!
Yeah. Your Honor, I'm certain there's something that still needs to be examined. The hammer is about to fall, Mr. Edgeworth. Only hard evidence can stop it now. Present what you think requires for deliberation now, assuming there really is anything left. This isn't over yet, not by a long shot. There's still one thing we don't have an answer to, and it's up to me to point it out to Judge Gavel. Go ahead, get rude. Call me a bitch, and I'll call you a dude. Ba-da-dun-dun-dun. I'll call up Anitra, she'll chop you in two. She's such a bitch. What a bitch. We still don't know the handprint, I think.
Objection!
Nope, that was not it. Okay, I need to fix it. Go ahead, gun. Go ahead, get rude. I'll call me a blank. I'll call you a dude. Chill. I'll never put my hands on you. I'll call up Anitra. She'll chop you in two. Yeah, that was the line I forgot.
Am I expected to accept this as evidence?
Oh fuck. Wait. Save's coming. Okay, what was not investigated yet? That's a question for the ages. Finland was disguised as a serving card and used to transport the body.
Don't forget the body was inside a hollow ice block. At least now we know why the platform was wet.
No. Maybe it's the Gemini case analysis results? What was in it? Maybe... I mean, we don't have the autopsy report yet. Maybe that's that.
Objection!
No, yeah, I'll try to throw the evidence I think is correct, and then, I'll ask you. Wow. You think I'm a bitch? Well, you're not done wrong. I put your man on a leash, because all men are dogs. I'm kind of a bitch. The boys all know. Quien se tela, the queen of mean. Maldita pera. Okay. Okay. This was used to heat something. This is fine. This was solved. Apparently the trap was... Queen of Mean is different. Yeah, I was quoting a song from like a song from RuPaul's Drag Race because there's a song from one of the talent shows which is pretty iconic. Poison grass ingredients, no. I mean, okay, can you give me a hint? What was Gumshoe look? Yeah. I was looking for the Gemini case and now I think that's it.
Objection!
Yeah, that was it. True, because yeah, I got close to it. I think but then I got got distracted by like that one Drag Race song. I'm afraid there is still one question concentrating the IS7 incident that remains unanswered, Lorna. Would you mind taking a look at this? What is it? They're the test results, carried out on the liquid at the bottom of the Gemini case in the winter wing. As you can see, traces of blood were detected. The question is, whose? Until that question is answered, I hardly think you can claim to have all the evidence. Was there blood in the Gemini case? Oh yeah, there was. Why did I not hear about this from Eustace? Because he's useless. Because the second Gumshoe informed me of the results directly. I was planning to tell you Mr. Wintergod myself, of course. Overruled. You've kept this to yourself until now, despite having no jurisdiction here whatsoever. Mark my words, the committee will hear about what you have done here today. As ever, my interest is in the truth. If more mistakes were made in the past, they must be rectified. If you must report me to the committee, then so be it. But in return, we must be allowed to investigate this case to the very end. That is not my decision to make. You will need to discuss it with Eustace. Where is he? Guess who's back, losers? With good news, too! Oh my gosh, he's alive! It was a close call for a minute there, but Carmelo Gusto is alive! Gusto? He made it. Thank you. You're the ones who found me? Yup, long time no see, Gusto. Man, I got the sneezies. I don't know why. You're the attorney's assistant. Yeah, thank you. You've grown. You've grown. And you have an assistant of your own now? Assistant? What? No, I'm... He hasn't got the gig just yet. This is Gregory Edgeworth's son. Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth at your service. Fate moves in mysterious ways. I think it's dust or something. I don't know if I have any allergies, but I don't think it's sickness. I'm in your debt. If you hadn't found me in time, I wouldn't be here to thank you. Oh, you're very welcome. After all, if you hadn't lived, we wouldn't be able to ask you what really happened 18 years ago. What are you talking about? We figured out quite a bit while you were out cold. including the fact that you're probably the guy who offered poor Artie Frost.
What? Is that true?
Miss Bell set up a very elaborate trap to catch Mr. Frost's murderer. A trap that involved rigging the Pisces case with poison gas. Perhaps in light of that fact, you could tell us in your own words what happened back then. He had less scars last time, wow. All that just from confection accidents. Well, perhaps you'd rather exercise your right to remain silent. Oh, it's not that. Gusto here is a fan of the old meditation. You know, and all that jazz.
Wow, sleeping while standing seems pretty cool. That's one heck of a talent.
Except there's no sleeping involved in meditation, Kay. Hey, Gusto, old pal. How about you snap out of it and tell us what went down way back when? I like how I gained more confidence. Yeah, I was caught in a girl's trap, so I must be the killer. Is this your idea of a joke? I'm the victim here.
Indeed you are, Mr. Gusto.
And there is no evidence that you have done anything wrong yet.
Mr. Edgeworth and Mr. Fender are merely speculating.
Rest assured that they have no authority here, and that you may pay them no heed. At least somebody here seems to be on my side.
Judge Verity Deville, it's a pleasure, Mr. Gusto. I will assist you in many ways that you may require. Perhaps you could begin by explaining what actually happened 18 years ago to Mr. Edgeworth?
Fine. You want to prove I'm innocent, Mr. Prosecutor? I'll be happy to.
Objection!
So this is how you mean to play it, Judge Gavelle? You're hoping Mr. Guster will help you hide what happened instead of trying to correct the record.
I believe only in the infallible judgment of the goddess of justice.
Except it is us humans who make the actual judgment in Cold now. You know, it's really funny how this character approaches like being religious, or at least religion coded, better than like the other religious rival in Ace Attorney, that being Naija Sedmati. Yeah, funny zealot. Unlike Naija Sedmati, who's just a zealot and not funny, except for what's crack-lacking homies, and that's it. And aside from that, he's a fucking pain in the ass. And so long as there are those who use the law for their advantage, all rulings are fallible indeed. If you could abuse your position to further obscure the truth, then neither she nor I will forgive you. We shall see about that. What do you advise, Judge Gavelle? Yeah, Devotion is an interesting character to write. Three.
It would seem that you are under suspicion because it was you who triggered the poison gas. Specifically, by opening the Pisces case's lead. Would you be so kind as to share a vibe with us? Vibe?
Understood. I came to see Frost sculptures. Simple as that. Yeah, it is. I made a mistake with the opening times and had arrived half an hour early. Miss Bell, was there no one in the reception desk around that time? I had left the main entrance unguarded and unlocked, just in case the killer made an appearance. I was also busy making preparations elsewhere, all the way up until the gallery's opening. So no, there was no one here on the first floor then. But I did make sure that all the wings were locked up tight. All except the autumn wing, that is. I see. She did all that just to steer the culprit into the autumn wing, which is precisely where Mr. Gusto went.
Sneaking into a building is pretty suspicious, however you slice it.
Silence in the courtroom! I will permit no objections or interventions unless there is some evidence that the witness is lying.
The courtroom? You know this is an art gallery, right?
I mean, a gallery is a gallery, okay? Mr. Gusto, if you could please continue by explaining why you opened the Pisces case. I wanted to see Mr. Frost's work up close. So I went up to the Gemini, sorry. I guess it was supposed to be the Pisces statue. And I saw that the lid was frozen so on tight. So I grabbed a blowtorch from nearby and tried to open it. Yeah, the travel gavel says otherwise K. Yeah. The travel gavel, any place can be a courtroom. It's very convenient. I should, I need to... Remind me to eventually make an infomercial edit for our girl, Verity Gavel. Just like, Franziska's VIP training start up. But I should do it for Verity Gavel's, for the travel gavel. That could be funny. Fascinating. Is his sort of flowers testimony attorneys can read a dream? Yeah.
Everything sounds like a lie, kind.
I am none too satisfied with Mr. Gusto's explanation myself. Alas, there is no evidence to refute it.
Come on! There must be something!
It's Bound's story you should be questioning, not mine. I'm not the one who set up the gas trap. She could have killed anybody with that thing.
Objection!
There he is. She turned on the sprinklers as soon as the gas was released. She knew exactly what she was doing. She was gunning for the killer and nobody else. That killer being you, old pal. So you believe that self-confessed criminal? I get why they probably didn't, but I find it interesting how despite this being a prosecutor, the main rival of both games is in defense. Granted, Apollo just did that first. And to great effect, until like game 3 if you want to count him. Like, the main rival in both games is in the defense. When did it happen in Apollo Justice? Like, them being the main rival? I mean, I guess you're saying it because Clavier Gavin isn't your rival. I mean, he is a rival, but he's nice. Yeah, Gavin was really a breath of fresh air after three prosecutors that hate you. Yeah, exactly, Mongo. I like a lot of I think that Apollo Justice is a game I've learned to appreciate over the years. The 4th game, I mean. And, I think I'm just saying that they could have made an evil defense attorney investigations, but they didn't. Yeah, that's true. In my opinion, Apollo Justice is a game that has its, flaws. I think that, like, the decision to make the final act of the game, like have like the second part of the final act be resolved by Phoenix Wright. Yeah, when the detective... That's true. They didn't limit them to like the courtroom mains, which is really cool. I think that like that was a decision that that I've come to understand why, and I respected the format, but it also made it so that like I think the issue with Lang is that like they wrote him in one way in case 3 and then they learned how to write him in case 5. That's my thing with Lang. Hence the Lang disappointment. They learned how to write him in the final case of the game. In case of 4, no. So yeah, it's like I have a bit of, I still feel that like some of the decisions were detrimental to Apollo, but I still think that a lot of the choice, but Apollo Justice was also a game that took a lot of risks, and it actually became a thing that like, obviously investigations was a bit of a challenge in a sense. The second one, like, the first one, like, was mostly good fan service. The second one took some risks, like, but like while also pleasing the fans. With Apollo Justice, the game made changes that like challenged the fans in a sense. Like I'm trying to articulate myself, and I hope I'm getting my points across. But like, I think what differentiates like the Ace Attorney investigations games is that like they elaborate and like change things up in the formula, but like they do it while somewhat respecting the format of Ace Attorney and adding some new innovations. Apollo Justice was a game that like made decisions, but because it kind of went through like the core fabric. Yeah. Yeah, Case 1 of GameFare was incredible. I still think that like Case 2 and 3 are good, and like 4 is a case I warmed up on. But I think that like Apollo Justice was necessary because 5 and 6 have their moments, but not as high. I only played Case 6, like Game 6 once, and I never really felt like revisiting it. It has the only case in the entirety of the Ace Attorney canon, which I think is skippable because it doesn't add anything, and that's Athena's case. It's absolutely filler. Absolutely skippable. You really don't need to play 1-1. It's a bit of a waste of time, to be honest. Yeah, but like Apollo Justice is interesting because even though it peaks in Case 1 and like it still has a lot of good moments, and like I think that like there's a lot of things that like were built upon in like Shu Takumi's other work, specifically with the Great Ace Attorney. You really can make an emotional, you can really make a through line with like the Ace Attorney games by Takumi, by like showing how he builds as a builds on his works as a writer. Anyways, we're gonna continue and maybe finish the case like once we get into like a cross-examination. Miss Bound is far from blameless in this affair, and she will have to pay for her crimes. But so will Mr. Frost's killer. You seem determined to pin Frost's murder on me. And I had no reason to kill him. Did you know? And you have no evidence to prove otherwise.
Can we really not prove he's the killer, Mr. Edgeworth?
Mr. Gusto fell victim to the poison gas, that much is indisputable. No matter how suspicious his actions are, the present may seem, they prove nothing but of the past.
Yeah, but then what about you, Mr. Fender? There must be something we can do.
You're right. We may not have evidence, but we have plenty of intel. Let's see now. If Gusto killed Frost, he must have had a reason. He claims not to have a motive, but that can't really be true, can it? If he did, he has one. Not many people commit murder just for fun. In fact, your old man had a little back and forth with Von Karma about the probable motive too, remember? How can he possibly say that with any certainty, if their relationship has broken down for some reason? That could very well have been the motive behind this murder. Well, Karma wouldn't let us talk to Gusto back then, but we can now. If we can put the pieces together, I think the picture we've been looking for just might emerge. Yes, I think you might be right. Let's think over everything we know about the IA-7 incident. Shu likes Ico, so he has good taste. You know what 2 games I need to play? Shadow of the Colossus and Ico. And maybe Ico more, because like with Shadow of the Colossus, I've seen a YouTuber play it like back in middle school, so I know about a lot of like the way the game goes. I know jack shit about Ico. We can maybe I'll stream it eventually. I wonder if there's like a PC port or something. If not, then it does seem like I'll need to emulate it if I want to play it. Yeah, I'll need to like play this. Maybe I'll put it on the bucket list. Maybe I'll play it. figure marks. I think that what's really nice about Ico is that, like, a lot of it just... It looks pretty timeless. Like, the models are relatively simplistic, and, like, when you look at some of the... When you look at some of the graphics, it does seem to have, It does seem like, It does seem like the textures are pretty much old, but it's still there is still something about the game that looks interesting. You were there. It was my ringtone for several minutes. I see. The scone denied that the finger marks and fame were hers. But what if they were Mr. Gustav's? Perhaps he had wanted to take a look through the ultimate cookbook for himself.
So he asked me to go put in a new cartridge. He seemed to think that there should have been more shots left than there were.
In other words, the film ran out sooner than expected.
Yes, the number of shots he took didn't line up with the number of shots remaining. He thought maybe he just lost track somewhere along the way.
My father noticed these things for a reason. I just need to piece them together correctly. In the absence of evidence, it's the only way to the truth. Okay. We know about the... Yeah, needs to connect. Mr. Gusto, you and Mr. Frost conspired to create works for the contest together, did you not? Huh, so you know my little secret. Mr. Fender was kind enough to inform me. Mr. Frost was in charge of the designs while you were in charge of the flavor, is this correct? What can I say? I still have a long way to travel on the road of becoming a master confectioner. But he only collaborated up through the semi-final. Something changed after that. We both wanted to show what we could do. Show that we were better than Tangaroa.
Objection!
Then why did he help Mr. Frost with his entry for the final? What grounds do you have to say that? Your own statement made to Mr. Van Karma 18 years ago. You told him that you had been walking together right until the day before the final. Mr. Frost's entry was carved entirely from blocks of flavored ice. Ice that would have needed at least a day to freeze, and whose flavors would therefore have already been prepared by Mr. Gusto. Humph. Yes, which lines up perfectly with what Mr. Gusto told me, that he helped Frost until the day before the final. In that case, why didn't Mr. Frost reciprocate and help Mr. Gusto in return? Because he's an asshole? Objection! I can hardly be expected to read the minds of the dead. Yeah, I inhaled some dust. So why didn't Mr. Frost help you in return? I submit that your relationship broke down for some reason, and that became the basis for motive for your murder. That's not how it was. Sure, we stopped working together, but it was all perfectly friendly.
You stopped working together in a friendly way? Kinda hard to imagine, but okay.
I like how Kay is just super relatable. Like, on one hand, she's very eccentric, and, like, she's very eccentric and, like, is a very quick thing. Like, she has I'm very eager to be, like, a phantom thief or a ninja, but, like, she's not detached from reality, which I like. Besides, how do you think I did it exactly? You think I just strolled into Tangaroa's room and killed Frost? Yeah, that's also true. But there is still something sus here. I couldn't have killed a man while Tangaroa was in there working the chocolate pieces, could I? So you see, it couldn't have been me. I wouldn't be so sure. There must be a window of time when Mr. Tangaroa wasn't in his room. And if I can prove that, I can prove that Mr. Gusto had the opportunity to kill Mr. Frost. I mean, it's fair that, like, she doesn't know it. She's 17. No, that's not it. Phew. He removed his hat because he's ashamed of me. Oh no. Photographing the cookbook's contents would be the perfect way to steal its secrets undetected. And what if Mr. Gusto did just that? What if he used Mr. Tangaroa's camera to photograph the book?
It'd be the perfect crime. So much better than stealing and getting it chased by the cops.
Sneaky snapshot or 20, huh? Not good work. The only question is, when would he have done it? Good question. Good question. Good question. What about during the afternoon tea? Didn't Alicia say that Gusto and Frost missed out on a little tea party they had? Which brings me to the next question. When did we know for certain that Mr. Frost was still alive? Then, after the contest began, nobody saw hide nor hair of Frost, as he has secluded himself in his room. And the only person capable of entering his locked room was Tangaroa, possessing, as he did, the only key. Miss Kerr, where Mr. Tangaroa works, the only ones you sampled?
No, dear, I couldn't help myself. When I'd finished my afternoon tea, I tipped over to Jim's room for a little taste too.
Mr. Frost had kept himself inside the room after the contest had started. He was gone by the time Miss Kerr snuck into it to sample his work, meaning there's a good chance he was murdered before the end of afternoon tea. And now I can connect these two dots together. We can be sure that Mr. Frost was alive until the beginning of afternoon tea. Making tea time the only window during which Mr. Gusto could have killed him. Are you satisfied with Mr. Gusto's story now, Mr. Edgeworth? Sadly, I'm afraid I'm rather unsatisfied. But things are finally starting to become clear, and the truth will soon come to light at last. Do you mean to say you've uncovered the new evidence? Evidence? No. I was hoping I might convince Mr. Gusto to open up to us about it instead.
Oh, is it mind games time again?
I love this girl so much. She's so precious. It is. Mr. Gusto, I have a question for you. I said, I have a question for you. Yeah! What is it? You chose to make your run treatment for the final on your own. I told you, I wanted to test this. I wanted to prove I was the best in the world.
Objection!
If that were the case, then surely you wouldn't have chosen to cheat in the first place. So tell me, Mr. Gusto, why did you feel the need to team up with Mr. Frost? Okay, we're gonna do the mind chess and then we're gonna finish. 18 years ago, Mr. Gusto and Mr. Frost collaborated in a confectionery contest. But why did they work together and why did they enter the contest in the first place? That's the information I need to get out of my opponent somehow. Oh wow, 4 of them. Crazy. Mr. Gusto seems to have a habit of pretending to be asleep when things aren't going his way. Let's start by focusing on why he chose to work with Mr. Frost. On my hand, now is the time to dig up the truth that was buried all those years ago. So basically, press when he's going eepy. Mr. Gusto, what inspired you to collaborate with Mr. Frost? We were acquaintances before we contestants. He was interested in entering the contest, so we decided to sign up together. And your decision to pair up with me, the sculptor had nothing to do with your lack of faith in your skills.
You don't know me.
We joined forces because we wanted to make the most perfect creations possible, that's all! Well, can you do that on your own? Let's buy our time. Frost's son and mine were in the same grade at school, so we got along pretty well too. Oh, so you were just two friends who happened to try the title for world's greatest confectioner. Wake up! Pretending to be asleep while the going good stuff won't work on me, I'm afraid. Mr. Frost was a sculptor, Mr. Gusto. I doubt he cared much about winning the title for confectionaires. In which case, he probably had a different motive for taking part in the contest, wouldn't you say? Fine. It was me. I wanted that title. Frost was only in the way. Frost was only in it for the prize, the ultimate cookbook. I see. And since your objectives dovetailed so neatly, you decided to work together. But then something happened. A breakdown in the relationships, perhaps? If so, I want to know why. Mr. Prosecutor, I'm still quite unwell after I brushed with death. Pushed me too hard. And I'll be on my way back to the medical room. No, wait! Better wrap this up quickly. I'm already dangerously low on patience. Mr. Gusto was trying to desperately make his escape, but he's not going anywhere yet. Not as long as he's keeping things from me. So let's figure out what he was really after next. He didn't want to be the very best like no one ever was. There's no time to lose. I need to pick the right line of questioning and fast. You two had your eyes on something other than the title, didn't you? After all, I'm not sure the title of world's greatest confectioner even counts for that much. Now you're insulting the way of the confectioner. My only goal, was to win that title. I didn't care about anything else. I have no idea how much it would have meant to me. Let's let him yap. Look, my sense of desire may not have been snuffed back then, but you should see me now. Oh, so you've improved. You bet I have. I didn't do all that trading in Shenfa for nothing. I looked up to Tangeroi. Spent hours poring over the designs of his work. I even used to watch his show with my son. Sounds to me like Mr. Tangeroi's work was especially influential in your early studies. With this recipe book, he might have even become the best someday. Maybe. The book was a real treasure. No doubt about that. Any confectioner would have wanted it. Sleeping. So you're interested in the book too? Huh. You claim that your only goal was to win the title. Yet you also seem to have an interest in the contest prize, the ultimate cookbook. World's collection of recipes by the world's greatest confectioner. I can't say I had absolutely no interest in it. Yeah, it is so fun. I love mind chess. And even if I did, what exactly is so wrong with that? Nothing, I suppose. Only that the book contained recipes for medicines, not desserts. And everyone who entered the contest supposedly knew that. I feel like I'm finally getting somewhere. I can't let him slip from my grasp now. I just need to stay calm and keep the pressure on. Yay. Next, let's find out why he wanted the cookbook. Did you know how valuable the cookbook really was? What kind of question is that? It was a collection of Tangeroi's recipes. There wasn't a confectioner in the world who would have wanted to get their hands in it. I don't have a clue as to how to proceed with this line of questioning. I'm gonna try another tack. So your plan was to win the cookbook and use it to help you with your own creations. What else? A book like that could have improved my craft tenfold. You could have made a lot of money if you sold it. I don't know much about what was actually in here. But it was worth more than money, I'll tell you that. Okay, now we press. You know more than letting on. Come now, Mr. Gusto. I think you know more than about the ultimate cookbook that you claim. They told us a little about it at the start of the contest. You know what kind of recipes actually contain, don't you? And that they weren't design recipes at all. I see, you did your homework. Fine, so you know what is really in there. The ultimate cookbook, or the angel's cookbook. To give it a proper title. It's a collection of chemical formulas and ways to synthesize new medicines nobody has ever heard of. So you didn't know the cookbook actually contained recipes for medicines. This could be an important clue. Going to deploy my clue. Your designs may have been improved thanks to your training in Zheng Fa, but you clearly don't have work enough on your skills of deception. You've already admitted that you knew the ultimate cookbook was a collection of recipes and medicines. Yeah, he is extremely... He's a very prideful man, that's to be certain. He really does seem to be deceiving. By making your interest not gastronomical but pharmaceutical in nature. You needed medicine, did you? Yeah, that's... I mean, I know... I vaguely remember some of the motive, and part of it is the fact that Artie Frost is a big asshole. But I don't remember everything. It suggested your interest must have been personal. I underestimated you. Fine, you're right. Winning the title wasn't the only reason I entered the contest. Yeah, I remember some of it, but not all of it. I needed one of the recipes in that book. It was for my son. He was sick. He was. Tell me more. That's none of your business. I've told you as much as you need to know. He looks battered, but I can't let him off the hook. Let's find out what this mystery illness was. I've almost got to the bottom of this. I can feel it. Just a few more moves. Could you tell me the name of the disease your son suffered from? You're a real cold customer, Mr. Prosecutor. Isn't it enough that he was seriously ill? Why would you force me to tell you more? I don't have a clue as to how to proceed with the line of questioning. But I'll try another tack. Study my opponent's reactions and pick my own responses accordingly. Tell me some more about your son. He was my pride and joy, and my biggest fan. And you entered the contest in order to help him. You clearly don't have children of your own. Any father would have done the same. Here's the theme of fatherhood coming back at it again. I would have done anything to help him. Anything. By my time, keyword was, yeah. He would come see me here in the contest venue too. Right up through the semifinal. He didn't get in the way of your work. If you were trying to beat Samson Tangarilla, surely you didn't have the time to look after a child. Yes, well, I wanted to do what I could for him. Yeah, poor son. He said he always wanted to try my creations. So he wasn't too sick to join you. You said your son was sick, Mr. Guster, and yet he was able to come and join you for the contest. It wasn't that kind of illness. Nothing life-threatening anyway. This feels like it could be an important clue. Could you tell me the name of the disease your son suffered from? You're a real cold customer, Mr. Prosecutor. Isn't it enough that he was seriously ill? Why would you force me to tell you more? Time to deploy my clue. You've already shared with me that your son's illness wasn't life-threatening. So why are you reluctant to share any further details? It may not have been life-threatening, but that doesn't mean he hadn't been life-altering. I see, that must be very hard on both of you. Of course it was. That's why I did everything I could to find a cure. We were desperate. He couldn't taste anything, not even his favorite desserts. I think, as I understand it, the ultimate cookbook contains a recipe for a particular medication. One that Mr. Tangaroa used to cure himself his own taste disorder. So he had it too. Two, you say? So your son had a taste disorder then, am I correct? How did I let that slip? You've been asking me to believe that you needed to win the cookbook in order to cure your son. But was that really the case? Of course it was. What are you saying? I'm saying that I'm not so sure it's true based on everything you told me. Oh my god, oh my god. I killed so much time. So you need a cookbook to cure your son. Yeah, nowadays you can get the medication you need anyway. But back then, the book was our only hope. Which is why I didn't waste any of my time on fancy tea parties. I had to give it all to my work. And what about Mr. Tangaroa's row? Well, surely that tea break gave you the perfect opportunity to go steal plants out of it. What makes you think I had the energy or time to care about that with the others in me? But you cared about Mr. Tangaroa's work, my guy. I think you've made it abundantly clear how much interest you had in Mr. Tangaroa's work. What's more, if you were that determined to win the ultimate cookbook, I seriously doubt you'd have passed up on a chance to peek at your competitors' entries. He turned into a car and ran away. Yeah. I had plenty of chances throughout my contest to see any samples of my Raul's work, you know? But each time I did, nothing seemed to have funny flavor. Just a big nerves or something. I think Mr. Gossel tastes any flavor. That seems like it could be an important clue. Yeah, I know. This I remember where I remember he had a taste. The Gusto had a taste disorder. Tempted to point my clue. Taste disorders are difficult to live with, isn't it? It isn't easy to being able to enjoy your food. You should know, after all. You just told me you'd experienced something like that during the contest. You said that nothing was sampled in any favor. Those were your words, correct? Which would seem to suggest that you were suffering from a taste disorder. Ah! A confectioner without a sense of taste. Not exactly ideal. Are you sure it wasn't actually your own condition you were seeking to cure, poor Mr. Gusto? I've had enough of your speculations. I managed just fine in the contest, made my own entries, no problem. Sorry, but I'm afraid you're contradicting your own testimony. You already admitted that you and Mr. Frost had worked together during the contest. It's too late to claim you did it all on your own now. You would have had us believe that you are a man of principle, a dedicated student of the confectioner's art. Yet you abandoned those principles and conspired with Mr. Frost to rig the contest. All so you could cure your own taste disorder. You got me, Mr. Prosecutor. As you said, my sense of taste was shot. My son's was fine. I kept it hidden for so long. 18 years and nobody knew. Sadly, you can lie to others, but you can't lie to me. Both Mr. Gusto and Mr. Frost entered the contest hoping to obtain the ultimate cookbook. But for the medicine that would cure Mr. Gusto's disorder, and the money it would bring to Mr. Frost. Thus, an uneasy alliance was forged. And that, I believe, is checkmate! Nice, and I also got healing. Okay. I'll admit it. You're good. I never told anybody or any of this, but you figured it all out anyway. It's true. 18 years ago, I developed a juicia.
What's a ageusia?
It's a taste disorder that makes it so you can't taste anything at all. A confectioner's worst nightmare. Mr. Fender, is this what Mr. Tangaroa had as well? No, the big man had what they call dissociated taste disorder. Basically, some things you could taste just fine, while others had no flavor at all. So he suffered too. Can't have been easy. Not when there wasn't a way to cure it on the market. Which is why I need Mr. Tangaroa's cookbook. Do you admit now that that was the real reason you entered the contest? It was the only it was only one of the reasons. I wasn't lying when I said I wanted the title. When I put my mind to something, it gets done, and I won't lose to anybody. I may not have been able to taste it then, but I still knew my stuff was good enough to win. Yeah, so I went to the final thinking you stood a good chance of winning. Huh, of course. What was it that Fenda said about what Mr. Tangaroa thought of Mr. Gusto's creation? Mr. Gusto's creations were a perfect balance of flavor and design. At least, up through the semi-final. Old men in visual novels can't always use one of their senses. I know another one... Oh yeah, I know him too. It really drove him bananas. But disappointingly, his entry for the final was subpar in both counts. We were told that your entry was for the final was far from the prize-winning taste sensation you described. Alright. What happened, Mr. Gusto? What went wrong that day? Fine. You want me to talk, I'll talk, but you're not going to like what I have to say. And this is where we're going to end for today. It's a bit of a cliffhanger, I know, and we're gonna have to wait a week until we continue it. However, with that being said, we've been streaming for like 3.5 hours, and it is getting pretty late in the tundras. So you guys will have to wait patiently until we get to it. Thank you so much for attending my stream, guys. I had a really good time with y'all. This case is a lot of fun. This climax is super interesting, and I am really excited to finish this one. Hopefully and probably in the next stream. On Monday, we're having Metaphor Mondays, and on Wednesday we'll continue Honkai, so like the usual, you know? And until next time, I hope you stay frosty. Bye-bye.